What is going on, people? Welcome to Throw Down Your Questions, episode 332. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, what's going on?
Brett Murdoch.
Hey, people.
And Brian Manjoma.
What up?
Hey, there's Brett. Hey, Brett, how you doing?
I've been here. I ain't saying shit.
Nobody's.
Yeah, because my microphone sucks.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
so he's like,
shit.
send me the headphone already,
Yeah.
God damn it.
I got. Here's the thing. I don't think I can send you the one I wanted to, because it's actually because I tried to update it. It's not even updating anymore. So you need something newer. You know.
Yeah, I might
Crazy
just gonna have to buy one.
Yeah, just buy one, dude.
We could all just pool our money together, you know.
No, Brett.
Yeah.
Brett
no,
has
I-
money.
I
Brett
could-
has money. Fuck that.
I could afford one. Tony just said he would send me one, so
Yeah.
I was waiting. I was like, well, dope,
Yeah.
I'm getting a cool one.
Yeah, and I fucking get yeah, no,
No,
forget it,
okay.
because the one I was gonna send you, I was trying to update it and it was fucking up. I'm like, I can't send Brett this shit. So
All right, it's settled.
just buy one, you know.
It's settled. We're starting to GoFundMe to get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brett probably makes more money than I do, man. You know.
Oh, by the way, shout out to Pig Dan for subscribing.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey,
come on
thank
in.
you.
By the way, if you guys want to suggest some good headphones, wireless headphones for Brett in the chat, please do. You know, we're
Yeah,
gonna.
send it out.
Yeah, man.
We got our eye on it.
Yeah. Brian, it's good to see you again, sir. Guess he's not happy to be here.
Oh no, I'm happy to be here. You just happened to catch me as I was stepping away for like a split second.
Uh-oh. So
Yeah, just getting some snacks.
Yeah,
it's good to be back. Yeah, last time I wasn't on, I was too tired, but I'm back in the game.
yeah, but don't worry about it. We had Rico on, so we had at least one black person on the show. You know, so we were good.
Oh, God.
You know, but Rico's not as classy as you. That's the difference.
Oh,
He has his own type of class.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah,
He
I mean,
is the only one.
Yeah.
that is true.
Oh man. All right.
everybody's less classy than the British, Tony.
Yeah, that is true. They just sound classy. Those accents, you know.
That's what I'm saying. That accent is a lot of it. You could be doing some gutter trash shit, but as long as you're doing it with a British accent, not too bad.
Yeah. Although, when you hear those ghetto British dudes, that shit sounds hilarious, man.
Oh yeah.
It really like that guy's ghetto as fuck. You know, it's hilarious. Anyway, let's get into some questions. And the end of this question may see Brett going off on a rant. So this is going to be very interesting, people. All
I've
right.
got feelings.
This first question is from Tumeke. I don't know if he's in the chat right now. Is he? Blitz, you there? Blitz, hello. There he is.
Usually
There
does
he
show
is. He goes, hey, that's when he goes, can I add an easy mode to this chat? Very interesting question, because that is his actual question. First question is, with Returnal currently kicking a lot of gamers' asses and some crying for easy mode, I see you, hip-hop gamer. Damn. Damn, he just said it. Do all games need to have a baby mode? Personally, I say no. Either man the fuck up or find something else to play. All right, so one of the things that's going around now is like, obviously Returnal is a roguelike, very punishing game, you know, and some people like hip hop are asking for an easy mode. I'm of the mindset that this is the game that developers wanted to make. If they don't want to have an easy mode, shouldn't have an easy mode. And I'm a guy who's done with it. I don't want to play this game anymore. And I'm saying, no, don't add it if you don't want to. Like, if you want to add an easy mode, like here's the thing, just to make it clear, I am not against difficulty modes. If a developer wants to have a difficulty mode, go for it. But if they don't want to have a difficulty mode, that should be allowed too. Just like those Dark Souls games, like if they don't want an easy mode, that's fine. You know, so that's where I stand. Like, I'm just going with artistic intent on this one. So no, the game shouldn't have easy mode if the developers don't want it. You know, what do the rest of you guys say?
I agree. It doesn't, you know, I personally don't think it needs an easy mode if they intended it to be that way. You know, I know a lot of people tend to believe that, oh, it'll cut people out and all that sort of stuff. And you know, the thing about it, like, one thing about it is that there are people that are fucking amazing at that game. There's literally right now, you can literally search for Returnal no death playthroughs.
Yeah, to them it is easy, you know.
That is some shit right there. So like, I don't, if it is possible to get through this game, and people are doing it, but some people just don't want to, you know, obviously if it can be off-putting.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like basically my whole sense is that not every game needs to be for everybody. I'm just getting out there. Not every game needs to be for everybody. It is
Well,
okay.
hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not that this game isn't for some people. It's that I imagine at least there's some people who want to play, who want to experience all the content, but god damn it, they're just not good enough. And no matter how hard they try, no matter how hard they grind, they're never going to unlock access to that content. That's the one place where I'm kind of like, I don't think it should have an easy mode. I think it should have an easier mode. And that's not necessarily for me, but like, make something cumulative. Make your progress roll over a little further. So if you do have to roll through the level 45 times, then eventually you get a little boost. I mean, I have no problem with grinding or difficulty or anything like that, but I think Dark Souls does it right, where you can smash your head against the wall and you can grind for a little bit. Try not to lose your souls, buff up a little bit, drink your milk, and come back. This game doesn't offer any of that, and it does very much seem to say, well, it doesn't seem to value your time, especially if you're like a working adult gamer who doesn't have chance. Like, you get 2 hours, you're like, okay, well, is that long enough for a run? And that's kind of dissuading. So not only does the difficulty fuck up a lot of people in terms of never getting to see content, but there are some people who enjoy the difficulty who just don't have the kind of schedule that they can put in. I'm not saying it should be made easier, but you can't necessarily have a game that difficult that throws away 3 hours at a time that you really can't pause. There's a point where you get so dismissive of a gamer's time that eventually they're just going to walk away. And I assume that's the artistic expression intact. I assume that's the opposite of what we're wanting at the end of the day, is people walk away from the game.
Yeah. And I've heard some people saying that most roguelikes don't have runs that last that long. That these guys kind of messed that up, like having runs that need to be 2 hours long. And apparently most roguelikes are like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I think that's more reasonable, Like tonight I was playing a game right before the show and I died and I wanted to play, but I'm like, I'm not going to have enough time. It's 9:30. I got to get ready by 10. Can't do it, So it's
an interesting thing, though. I mean, like, for them to, in the world of, we're in the realm where every game is considered the easy game, right?
Yeah.
These guys decided to, like, okay, we're going to release this brutally hard game in the veneer of a PlayStation-esque type title. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah,
here's the thing. The thing that made Dark Souls, and we can't talk about this without talking about Dark Souls, so I'm just going to burst that bubble right now. The thing about Dark Souls that makes it an amazing game is it's difficult but fair, and I think that last portion is really, really fucking important. If you die and you're like, yep, I see what I did there, that's fine. If you die because of random item drops or random enemy spawns, and random enemy locations or things like that, that's not really super fair. Yeah. So I think that a lot, and that idea of fairness is so deeply buried into our simian brain that if we don't scratch that itch, we're just going to be inherently dissatisfied. So I think that balancing act is really where Dark Souls shines. It's really the reason that, my opinion, it goes down in the Gaming Hall of Fame. Not because it's just a tough game. I've seen people play tough games. Ghosts and Ghouls is not in my top 10. But, for something that is as well polished, you can have hitbox porn with fucking the Souls games. And you may as well, it may in this one too, but there does seem to be some kind of, there's a gap in planning, kind of like Reset, like, well, a lot of people don't have 2 hours, so like you could have made it shorter, and that would kind of account for some of the bad choices that the randomization may give you. I threw away 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but that's just how RNG works. But I think when you extend it to 3 hours, you're hitting a kind of a game that we haven't seen since Ghosts and Ghouls, and that's honestly the play of this. Think about the play loop of this. It's very similar, other than the fact that Ghosts and Ghouls was never randomly generated. But this feels like an old Nintendo game. Just make a run at it, make a run at it, make a run at it, make a run at it. Finally, you got to the next level.
Yeah,
and that's the only way you get there. And
yeah, no, I was just gonna say, that's exactly what it makes me feel like, and it's like, yeah, that was fine when I was 8 years old and had nothing but time in my hands. I'm a fucking old man. I ain't got that kind of time or patience anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like asking people to do like these 2 or 3 hour runs, like that's like making people watch a 4 hour fucking movie. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, come on, man.
Well, if you could save it, or again, like make any progress. Like let's say one of your suit augmentations, like you could you could build points up to buy permanent suit augmentations that last through the level. So even if you die that run, you made a little bit of progress forward. Like you need to reward people for their hard work with at least a little bit of progress these days, because like you said, some people just don't have time. Like I would love to. That was my jam back in the day. Playing hard games and just ramming my head against the wall until the wall broke. I don't have time. And I'm not asking gaming to accommodate itself for my busy adult schedule. But I am saying that a large portion of your audience does have to have a job at least 40 hours a week. You might want to keep that in mind before you pitch a game that really only accommodates to the playstyle of 17-year-olds.
I will say this. These are the instances where I'm thankful that people review video games because...
Yo, Carlos, I suffer so you don't have to, man.
Exactly. So Tony suffered for us, man.
Yeah, like I suffer for your sins, man.
Because I was just, I was desperate for a PS5 game. I'm like, yo, I'll just get whatever comes out. And Returnal was the next in line. And, hearing Tony's first impressions and second impressions and third impressions and fifth impressions. And I'm like, yeah, this game is definitely not for me. And now seeing the whole mass playing this game, I'm like, this game is definitely not for me. And I could have pre-ordered this game. I could have bought this in day one, and I would have just been as upset as everyone that I'm hearing talking about this game.
What's funny? Like, also, let me just say about Returnal. Returnal does not give you anything. Even the story is a battle to understand. Because
I would agree with that.
I took the time and actually watched. There's at least 30 minutes of cinematics in the game, right? And there's like little things, and I watched all that shit. I can't tell you what the fuck is going on in that game.
Wow.
And it doesn't give you it. And there's 2 endings.
What? Why?
Whoa! Oh man!
By the way,
who's gonna
there's 2
suffer
endings
through that shit?
Yeah, there's two endings in the game, and you don't know what. There's some things you understand, some things you don't, but you don't understand a lot. Like it can be interpreted in a bunch of different ways. So in other words, it's not giving you nothing. It's not giving you your progress. It's not giving you your story. It's just like it's hard.
So you're doing all that for nothing, then?
Yeah.
Well, here's an interesting thing, Tony.
Yeah.
The whole game changes when you realize that this is, or when you frame it with the mentality of these are the people who made Resogun.
Yeah.
Right. Resogun is
3D Resogun. Yeah.
At its heart, it's a shooter that you just play over and over and over and over, trying to make it as far as you want. And they've clearly brought a lot of that idea over to over to Returnal. So I think you're supposed to play it with the mindset that you would play like Geometry Wars. Like you're just gonna go in and shoot a bunch of stuff and maybe make it to the next level and unlock a new space. But the problem is they don't really frame it that way. Like there's ways to look at this game that it is absolutely fantastic, but I think you need to communicate well with your audience and let them know kind of the context in which they should be taking this.
Yeah, the problem is that Sony marketed this thing as the next big AAA, Uncharted, Last of Us, whatever type of game. It's like this is not
and
it.
Charged for it too.
And charged for it. This is and I've said this. I said this in my review, and I've said this many times, and I keep on saying it. And Brett, you said it too. This is an indie game disguised as a AAA game. It has the clothing of a AAA game, but it has the mechanics of an indie game, and that's just what it is. It doesn't take long to figure that out. As soon as you start playing, like, oh, it's an indie game. Interesting.
It's an interesting way to sort of think of things. Like obviously they didn't have the budget or to do something like an Uncharted level and have these really amazing looking cinematics. So what they did is they sort of spread out maybe what would be considered an hour-long story and let the gameplay be the thing that keeps you that's the most, you spend the most time actually playing the game than actually listening to story.
Yeah.
Or interacting with story.
Yeah. But to
me,
go ahead. Yeah, just to get back on the question about easy modes, if games need them or not.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's it's the artistic vision. If that's what the director and the developers want it to be, and then it's not my place to tell them what they should do. I mean, the best I can do is just tell them to make a functioning game, and make sure you advertise it as whatever the game is supposed to be. The whole thing with difficulties, like people praise Dark Souls for it because it doesn't have them, but there's games that that do have them, and then a lot of people don't complain because they pick whatever difficulty they want, normal, hard, whatever. For me, it doesn't really matter if it doesn't have a difficulty, and I struggle through the game, then that's what it is. There's not really much I can really add to that.
Yeah, no, but I think Brett's right. It's like, and I felt this way too. It's like, if you're gonna make us play that long, give us something to show for it. It sucks literally playing for like 20 hours and nothing to show for it. Again, that's cool if you like that sort of thing. But again, I'm an adult, bro. You got to respect my time here. Go ahead, man.
I feel like, just going again. I do believe that the vision is the thing, but I admire the fact that they decided to release something like that in this time frame. In other words, again, like why? Like again, most games are like they're pretty damn easy, with the exception with the amount of games that you can count on your fingers that are like brutally hard. Yeah. I think it's interesting that they released that now, especially when people are complaining so much about difficulty in games in general.
Yeah. No, that's great. Again, if you like these brutally hard games, that's fantastic. I'm glad, you're getting them. I'm just saying, we're saying our piece here.
I also think that that sort of game also has its sort of audience. So what if? There is the idea that maybe this game is not for everybody.
It isn't,
and that's also a possibility. That is a possibility.
No, it's not a possibility. This game is not for everybody, and I don't like the idea of that every game needs to be for everybody. Every game does not need to be for everybody, because there are some people going. No, let me finish. Some people out there saying, "Oh, they needed to make this accessible to everybody." Why? What if they didn't want to do that? Again, I don't want to stymie the artist. If that's what the kind of game they want to make, that's the kind of game they want to make, even if it's exclusionary. That's just how it is. Like, think about it. It's like, I don't like fucking seafood and shit. I'm not going to go make that seafood for me. It's like, no, that's just not for me. Go ahead, man.
Here's the thing, though. There's a lot of that target audience that don't like this game. Ask some of the souls of it. Ask Chris. I can tell you personally, I love a fucking challenging game. This game is not that. Like, it feels like somebody fucking takes your lunch money every time you die. It's just this weird thing. I'm gonna take everything, get back to the fucking beginning, and you're gonna like it, motherfucker. Like, you can at least respect my goddamn time. Give me a minute thing, even just a fucking point, one little point that I can put into one little thing. Just give me fucking something, man. And I ask the people who play Dark Souls, ask the people who play Super Meat Boy, ask those people. I'm sure there are the hardcore of the hardcore who love this game. And honestly, if I could fucking play it, that might be me. But I think that you reach a certain point, like, yeah, sure, like, some food, like, is too salty for some people, right? But when you get to something where something is too salty or too spicy, let's go with hot wings, right? Like, yeah, everybody fucking loves hot wings. Some people really like really hot wings. When you get to the hot wings that literally dissolve the roof of your mouth, you might have gone too goddamn far.
Like that fucking Outrider shit,
Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a gradient. It's not, oh, this game isn't for us. Like, this encroaches into the territory where people who like challenging games are like, dude, I fucking don't have time for this shit. I mean, it's fun. It's a good thing to, like, dump my time into, but I do not have... I've lost more progress to bugs and just having to log off and go do shit than I have by dying. That's what pisses me off. I have no control over that shit. I have no ability to be like, oh, well, I can fix that. I'll just unbug it. Or like, yeah, sorry, I have to fucking shut the PlayStation down. There's multiple people who play this. I can't just suspend it in rest mode, asshole.
Yeah.
Which is they're kind of like, oh, that's the way you do. You just put your system into rest mode, and it'll carry over your progress. Like, what if multiple people are using it? Well, turns out it resets you. So that's fun.
Yeah, I got about quick things from the comment here. First off, I got to give a shout out to C. Iverson20, my nephew. Yeah, he goes, yo, I'm off to work, ready for throwdown. Peace to everyone. Love you, Tony. Love you too, brother. You already know. And I got to give a shout out to my boy J&L Game NYC. He's in here. I got to hang out with him a couple of weeks ago. Good guy, man. I don't know. I'm not gonna say his actual name on here though, but good guy. Thank you for subscribing as well. And I want to say one of his comments goes, Tony, about your comment about being an adult and not having time to game. Be real. We are all adults. We make time for what we want. I can watch a football game for 3 hours and I can do a run on Returnal. Yes, and I'm glad you say that. Yes, you make time for the things you want. I don't want to play this fucking game anymore. How about that? You know, fuck that shit. It's wasting my fucking time, bro. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about this with the Mortal Kombat stuff. The movie, it's like for I think for all of us in the panel, the movie wasn't for us.
Trash.
But a lot of people actually liked it.
Yeah.
So, it's good. I mean, it's good for them, and hopefully, the majority does like it. And if the people like Returnal, it's good. Yeah, good for them, and hopefully they can. There's enough audience there to, have a sequel in it. Like they can make enough money to have.
Yeah, listen. I want all the success for this fucking game. A House Marquee, House Mark, whatever you call it. Dope studio. Keep on doing your thing. Make your money. I'm just saying this game's not for me, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, every game is for everybody. No, they don't. Some games are for specific audiences. This ain't for me. Simple as that. But the game is fucking dope for what it does. And I reflected that in my preview. It was a very positive preview. Motherfuckers saying I'm talking shit. No, I'm not. I'm just keeping it real. For you guys, maybe it's great. Cool. Ain't for me, boy. I got listen, shit like Resident Evil 8, it's like they said it's like 12 hours, like perfect. I can knock that out in a weekend, and make progress, Anyway, anything else you guys want to say about easy modes?
Well, I agree.
Okay,
Oh,
Chris,
Brian,
you
go.
Oh,
Okay.
no, I was just going to give the rich answer. I agree with everything that was said.
Oh, yes. All right, Brian, go ahead, bro. Give us your insight.
Yeah, I am in agreement with most of you guys. I honestly don't think that games that don't have an easy mode should not just be putting in an easy mode just because people want an easy mode, because I think that is the easy way out, and it kind of defeats the whole point of video games. Like the whole point of games to me is that you get some sort of challenge, and the reward is you learning that challenge and i.e. beating the game. So if you beat the game on like a lower difficulty, then did you really beat the game, or are you just going through the motions? The best way to prove this is play Call of Duty on like the easiest mode. It feels very different. Like there's been times I've been just been playing the game on like super easy mode, and you don't really think about stuff. You just do stuff. So your actions while playing a game in like an easy mode is very different when you're playing on like a hard mode or like a normal mode. It's pretty much brain dead mode in my opinion. So yeah, I don't think it does, because it just takes the whole fun and takes the whole challenge out of the game. Like sure, sometimes people don't want a challenge. That's fine, but sometimes people want the challenge, and if the game developers say, hey, let's give people a challenge, then I don't think that they should be forced in order to have like a lower difficulty, because people don't know how to jump over a wall, So, and yes, it is directly at him, because I will never forget that as long as I live.
By the way, I saw my man is a creeper, by the way. Just putting that out there. I'm not going to say his name, but like he came into one of my tweets. No one even tagged him. I'm like, what are you doing here, bro? And then just for curiosity's sake, I went to his Twitter and looked at his replies. He was jumping into other people's threads that were mentioning his name. I'm like, really, bro?
I was talking to Tony at the time on about this. I was like, well, he probably has his name tagged, so whenever somebody says his name, not even at him, it'll show up on his shit.
Yeah.
And which seems a bit paranoid, right?
It's stalkerish. That's what I call it. That's
weird behavior. Paranoid. Like he can't stand to have somebody talking about him, so he has to mark down his name. So when somebody says his name, he can go jump in on that. You got better shit to do, buddy.
Yeah,
go play some games.
Yeah,
maybe learn how to finish off that tutorial.
Yeah, go finish. Go finish off Cuphead, bro. Anyway, hey, by the way, beat Cuphead. There you go, man. All right, and got the platinum in Bloodborne, so your boy ain't no bitch. We got to be fair. Got to be fair. Because again, Brett, I know what you're talking about. It's like, okay, like in a Soulsborne game, you could train and prepare, level up, and all that, right? And you'll always get the same results, right? In this game, the game will literally throw 10 robots at you, and you have a little pea shooter. It's like, good luck, buddy. I'm like, bruh, you fucking crazy,
Does it lock you in the room when you get into?
Sometimes.
I just gotta say, just from the bugs and like even I told her, like, even the item placement, like, everything is just kind of randomly thrown around. It doesn't really seem to have a lot of forethought or plan, in the sense that, like, sometimes items to give you health will be in a pit that kills you.
Yeah, remember,
Why?
I honestly believe you probably can get there later with an upgrade.
There's
So
not a floor there, man.
no, it's water. It's water. It's a pool of water. So that's not a glitch.
No, you can
know?
No, you get the ability to go into water. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's not a glitch.
That's one of the abilities.
Yeah.
This
Understand,
game,
Brett? Yeah.
yeah, no, I understand. Do you get the ability to go into lava too? I'm assuming.
Probably do. Yeah. Probably do. You know.
Is this
To walk
the
on
first
lava?
level?
Yeah, I think that's also another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the first biome.
Yeah. Again, remember
I don't know
the
if it's in
game.
the first
The
biome.
game has a Metroidvania thing where you can't access things until you have the right equipment. You know.
Yeah,
Like,
but can you come back from later levels? Can you come
yeah,
back from, like, the
dude,
fourth
you
biome
die,
to the
you
first
always
biome?
every time you die. It doesn't matter if you're on the sixth biome, which is the final one. If you die in the sixth biome, you're right back to the beginning. So yeah,
Oh, seriously?
yeah. Every single dude, you've seen it already. Every
I
single
thought you
death.
got to. I thought you got to start over at the next biome. I don't. Or the same biome.
No,
Jesus
sir.
Christ! So basically, this
No,
game
they-
is like an old NES game where you just take a whole fucking run at the thing.
Yeah, there's shortcuts and all this other shit, and you do get some words like you do get like a grapple hook or whatever. But yeah, I'm telling you, you could be at the final boss. You die, you right back to the beginning of that spaceship. You know.
Fuck that noise.
And there's also a plot thing. There's also a plot thing that's also a fuck you too. By the way,
Oh man.
Oh,
But we're not gonna spoil that.
and I gotta go
obviously.
to that.
All right, man. Let's move on. Next question. Good stuff there. All right. Next up. Next question is from Villa Kyle. Semi-related. Okay. He goes. You can make an argument that last gen was largely defined by big open world RPGs. This led to increased expectations for AAA titles in terms of overall content versus price point. And the question is, do you think the current popularity and proliferation of roguelite, and Soulsborne games is shifting us back to older game designs where games were more content dense and difficult? Are we shifting away from long, playtime-wise, and less challenging games? I don't think so. I think, these type of games are just becoming more popular, but I don't think they're subverting, like, the easier games,
I think since we've had a generation of people that have essentially grown up with kind of pussy flavored games. Now it's the shift backward. Now it's like, oh wait, why are games so fucking easy, man? And then they jump it back. Because I remember like an old thing about, like, it was like an interview maybe with somebody from Insomniac, and they were saying like, we kind of wanted to make a game that anybody can sort of jump into. It's not that crazy. You can still anybody can go through it, and there's no lives, there's no coins. It's just you going through the level. Now it's like the other way around, where it's like, no, man, you can only get one life, and then you die, you go back to the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think there's the resurgence. Not a resurgence, the surgence of those games. For a while now, since the PS3 era. So I don't think it's anything new. It's just some of them are just looking very nice now. That's what it is.
I think it's kind of cool. I just find it kind of cool that we're in a world that can, those type of games can also exist alongside the the usual sort of light experiences that games have sort of done these days.
Yeah. What about the rest of you guys? You think we're seeing a shift?
No, I don't think so. I think as the generations go on, like, everybody tries to outdo each other in the size of the map you can make, the amount of content you can stick on that map. Like, look at Elder Scrolls or GTA or whatever. Everybody's like, just the map keep getting bigger. Actually, I saw a guy comparing the maps between like Elder Scrolls and Witcher and all this stuff, and how they just keep getting like geometrically bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Like, that's never gonna stop. Like, the suits know at a lot of these companies, it's like, you got to give people more, even if they chop up the DLC, just make the map bigger, so there's more shit to do, and there's more potential for multiplayer, and we could put all this stuff in here and make sure there's more guns and more characters, and more. Everything is just more. Just turn it up. So while you might have some appeal to the roles like that and the Soulsborns, even like the Souls games are getting bigger too. So
Yeah, they
that,
are.
yeah, so that's never going to change.
Yeah, like we were playing Demon Souls. That's one of the things I thought, like, this is a little bit smaller than I'm used to.
Right. And then you go play Bloodborne and it's like huge.
Yeah, huge. But obviously, Bloodborne has a lot of save points. Demon Souls is not. It's like you get one. That's it. You get two. You get one in the beginning and then at the boss. But at the same time, going back to Returnal, you still feel like you made progress. Returnal, you could be fucking nasty in that game. The RNG's bad. That's it. But yeah, I don't think we're seeing this. I don't think anybody's going to disagree on this panel with that. We're not seeing a shift. It's just some of these games just look like AAA, so people are buying them. All right, move on next.
Another
question.
another quick Returnal thing.
Yeah.
What if you at some point you decide, you know what? You got to a point in the game and then you just decide to go back to the first biome to your ship. If you go back to your ship, do you still keep all your shit?
I believe so. Somebody was saying that what they do is when they're in, but this is just for the first biome, they suggest to clear up the entire first biome, go back to your ship, heal up, and then move on. But yeah, what happens if you try to go back? Can you go back? I don't think you can.
I think you can go back.
Yeah. Again, I haven't gotten that far. I've only gotten to the third boss. So, if you guys can maybe let us know in the chat, I just find it funny. It took me like, I got to it took me 5 days to get to that third boss. Then I got to him, took me 5 days to beat the second boss. Took me 2 hours to get to the third boss because I was pretty beefy and stuff, but I had like no health, so he hit me once with the little orbs. I was dead, and I've never been able to go back to him. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But I've seen some guys being fucking nasty. Good for them, man. Good for them. That RNG's hitting good. And the thing is, I can make the RNG good, but it's like, I'm not trying to replay the whole first level again. It's fucking bullshit. All right,
Mr.
Davis. All right, let's move on to the question, man. Kind of a follow-up to the last question. Do you prefer long, epic, open-world games or shorter, denser games? Personally, I now prefer shorter games because I have less time. There is more content available across all media, so my gaming time is now shared between podcasts, movies, series, and I still can't keep up with everything. Because of that, I prefer shorter, more highly polished games. My thing is, I wish they made more shorter, highly polished games. All the big, highly polished games that I like are all giant, AAA open world games. It's like
time sinks.
Yeah, so it's like these are the kind of games I don't want to play, but they take 50 million hours to beat. So it's like, and then you have like indie games, where it's like, okay, they're short, but I'm not trying to play this shit. So I'm in a weird thing. But then, thankfully, we have games like Resident Evil. We have the AAA production, but it's only 12 hours long. Perfect. Exactly what I want. A game I can knock out in a weekend. That's fucking perfect for me. So there's another recent example. Okay, this one's longer, but I still say I still throw it in there too. Control, 30 hours game, perfect. Like, to me, if a game is like between like 20 and 50 hours, that's great. But we don't see a lot of that. Now it's just like 100. Valhalla almost broke me. Valhalla is so long. Brett used to be the guy who said no game could have too much content. This is the game where he's like, this game has too much fucking content. It broke Brett. That's how you know this shit is real.
Yep. At a certain point, you just jump the shark, man.
Yeah, it's like, bro. And I'm one of those motherfuckers, I need to finish the whole game. So I'm like, oh, God, I made it for a long haul. Like 140 hours. But at the same time, like we said this before, it depends on what you're doing. Because I spent the same amount of time playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I fucking loved every single second of that game. But because every single second made me feel like I was moving towards something. Valhalla's like, oh, here we go. It's another one of these jokey little cutscenes again. It's like, all right, bro. But Control's dope. Resident Evil's dope. We need more games like that. I love the 2 Resident Evil remakes. Perfect length.
For me, I've never been into the 50 billion hour like open world game. I actually don't care too much for open world games. I can actually, I can't say I can't count on my fingers, but I don't play very many of them. The last open world ish game that I played was Spider-Man. Miles Morales.
Oh, that
And
was great. That was perfect too.
And those games are sort of like I feel like those games are kind of a perfect length where you can kind of get through all the whole thing and do all the stuff in it. I'm okay with those things, but like Red Dead, I got like performance anxiety on that game. Like there was just like as soon as the game opens up, there's like 1,000 little icons and shit to appeared all over the place. I'm like, oh god, where do I start in this shit?
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry. Oh no, finish up. I got to do something after this. I got to give a shout out.
Yeah, for me, I can't. I prefer I miss the sort of 6-hour title, or the 12-hour title. At least you can kind of get through, those a little, at a decent length. And me, I don't, again, I'm always working, so it's to sort of like spend a little bit of time here and then go back to work, and I like that.
Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out to Paul Perez, who's joining us. I was on his podcast about a month ago. Really good guy, and I'll try to get Manny on your show too, bro, because that'll be good. Good guy.
Wait, you PM'd me, right, Paul?
Yeah, he DM'd you, yeah.
I'm sorry, I got to get back to you on that.
Yeah, Paul's a really good guy. I really enjoyed being on his podcast. Very, very laid back, very chill, really good questions. And he's Dominican too, so my man definitely got to get the shout out, What's up?
Yo, Tony, by the way, so I added his questions. He asked 2 questions. I added them to the queue.
All right, good stuff.
I don't know
the thing is the second, the second question, that's not a gaming question, but it also kind of is. I'll see how I feel about that one. You added them. Okay, I'll figure it out. What the hell is the question we're answering right now?
Game
length. Carlos, you don't even play games anymore, do you?
Nah, I just read manga, man.
We're about to read that Invincible, though.
Yo, man, it's all about Invincible, man. They need to make a game. I mean, I do play games, but not as much as some people here. I prefer both. I'm not really. Give me a freaking GTA, a long freaking game that's gonna take forever to beat. That has a lot of side missions. That has a lot of mini games and stuff like that. But also, give me games like like the Call of Duty campaigns. Like they're short, but they're always good. Give me the Order 1886, or give me those types of games. I don't really need a game to be either or, as long as they do what they do fine and it's not bloated. Like you guys mentioned Valhalla. I still haven't played that game, but from hearing what Brett's talked about it, what Tony's talked about it, I'm like, I don't look forward to like just laboring on the same kinds of things.
Yeah.
But then there's games like Yakuza. I fucking love Yakuza. Like I love even doing the little side missions because they're always interesting. They're all different. They have their own sense of humor, and like I look forward to doing them.
You know what it is? I just realized it's really a game respects my time, because like I said, I put as much time into Red Dead Redemption 2 as I did into Valhalla. And again, I'm not complaining at all about Red Dead Redemption 2. So even though it's a big open world game, big long game, but every single thing I did was meaningful. You know what I'm saying? So I think it really comes down to like, it's not so matter of like, even though I kind of would prefer shorter games, like I think it doesn't matter as long as there's good content in there. Like you said, Yakuza, I don't consider that open world really. It's just big world, but everything in that fucking game is worthwhile. Everything, and you want to do it. You'll spend 90 hours in that fucking game because you love it so much, Mm-hmm. So I think you're right. I think it what really matters is not so much the length of the game, it's the content in the game, and does it respect your time or not, So I think that's what it really boils down to in the end.
Even a game like Monster Hunter, like
yo, how many? I put like fucking almost 400 hours into that shit. That I don't think I've sunk that much time in any game in my life. But the game is fucking good.
Yep. Good. So, but I mean, I guess if I had to answer the question, I would say shorter, just because even if the game is good, like I'd be leaving like wanting more instead of playing a game that's good that sort of saturates at the end.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So shorter, I would go with shorter over long running games.
All right, I'm gonna go down the line here, Chris.
I think I prefer longer games. I mean, the thing is, like, if you look at what I played the most, like between the Souls games, GTA 5, I like the Far Cry games, and those are all open world. So I prefer longer games, and like and and Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, the story is so good.
Yeah.
I love both those games, the first game and this game. I mean, so just story hooked me and stuff. I'm looking forward to Elfen Light. Not what is it called? Elden Ring. Excuse
Elden
me.
Ring, yeah.
I was like, they're making enough
open
to
lead.
lead.
Hey, up for
Yeah.
the lead, bro.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
sorry.
man, got that Otanime in your head.
Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, while there's plenty of room for showcase. See, I play Resident Evil also, and those aren't long games. They're just they're the
You
condensed
get your money's
experience.
worth out of those, man.
Yeah, you get and yeah,
Get
I
your
agree.
money's worth
I
out of
agree
that
with
one.
that. But like, then I'll also enjoy like Just Cause, and I played the third one. I haven't played the fourth one. I still have to play that one, but I enjoy that too. So, but I prefer the longer stuff.
Yeah, all right. Brian. You already know Brian's answer. Mr. Warframe 8,000 hours and shit.
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to answer this actually. So,
Uh-oh.
because on the one hand, it's not really a case of how long the game is, because you can get some bad long games and some bad short games. So length to me isn't really the problem. The problem is just the content of that, because I would easily pick a meaty 10-hour game over a meaty 100-hour game. Meaty 10-hour over a standard 100-hour game because it's meatier. But then I'll also pick a meatier 100-hour game over a standard 10-hour game because again, it's meatier. So it just depends on what you're doing.
Content, baby.
So yeah, it's a difficult answer because again, if what you are doing is worth your time, then I think that's what's most important. So if a game has content that you like doing over and over again, then to you that's enjoyable. Hence, the length isn't really a big problem. So, for example, what's like the first Tomb Raider reboot game? I really enjoyed that. It was fun. It was relatively short, and it's fine. I think I overall played about 20 hours in total. That to me is okay. But also, I'm out here playing Elite Dangerous for like 100 and something hours because again, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Would I like Tomb Raider reboot to be like 50 hours long or 100 hours long? Not really, because I don't think you can vary that much in that. Well, I don't think there's enough to vary in that time span of like 100 hours. Like, you can't really be doing all that much apart from what you're already doing in the first 10 hours. So you can't drag out that 10 hours into like 100 hours. And then by the sound of it, that's the problem with Valhalla, is that they take like a 20-hour game and then they stretch it out to like 100 hours because Assassin's Creed stuff, So, yeah. Just don't pad games, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I think we're all kind of saying the same thing in different ways. Brett.
I agree with pretty much. I agree with what everybody else is saying. The way I look at this question is: do you prefer movies or long-form TV shows? Like, well, it's both, man. Like, depends on what I want. I love going to see an awesome action-packed movie that just shoved 90 minutes full of awesome into a nice, complete, tight little package. But then I like to go home and binge watch 3 episodes of my favorite series. So like it's the same. Like, man, I want to go out and I want to play a AAA blockbuster game that takes me 12 to 30 hours, and then I want to go back and fuck out in Fallout until the next game comes out. I think it's it's just what you're looking for, and I think both of them have a good place and reason to exist.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of ending that one. Yeah, they all have their merits, man. All right, moving on to the next question. This one is from Illustrated Dio, our boy. You already know. Not that Dio.
What?
His first question is related to State of Play, which was our feature topic Thursday.
Whoa.
A little bit different though. Okay, what other announcements did you want to see from the latest state of play? And he says, I wanted an announcement on internal SSDs. About the last one, they specifically said it's going to be Ratchet and Clank, so I had no expectation. I'm like, okay, Ratchet and Clank, that's it. I didn't want them to throw anything else in there, so I wasn't really disappointed. I'm like, they said it's going to be Ratchet and Clank, and it was Ratchet and Clank, so that's it, you know?
And some indie games.
Yeah, they threw
Some indie games.
No, because some people were like, "Oh, what did they talk about this? What did they talk about that?" I'm like, they told you it's just gonna be Ratchet and Clank, bro. They told you. You know, you can't be like, "Hey, I'm gonna make you some steak," and and they bring you steak. You're like, "Hey, where's the French fries, bro?" Like you didn't. I didn't know French fries, motherfucker. I said steak. You know.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, I wasn't disappointed or anything, like because I knew like you guys what I was getting into, but calling it a state of play is kind of, I don't know. I'm like, you just call it the Ratchet and Clank show or the Ratchet and Clank, whatever.
Did you feel that way when they did a state of play for Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima? Because they did separate, they had their own dedicated state of plays for those too.
I don't remember, so I can't really answer that.
Okay, so what do you think of them doing it? Because this is the third time, maybe the fourth time they've done this.
I think they should just make it. I think they should make state of plays just broader. The state of they can include the Ratchet and Clank stuff, but just put more stuff about the what's going on with PlayStation. Obviously, they did have those first two announcements, but they were like kind of like tweets. It's like, here's this okay, or like, but yeah, I mean, I feel like having the state of play is kind of it should be something special, like with a lot of stuff like going on with PlayStation, not just one game. I think if you just do one game, you can make it so like be like I know the Ratchet and Clank showcase, something like that.
Yeah,
it's a nitpick, but
All right. Well, now you know because I'm like this is like the third big main time they had a 20-minute long one for Last of Us and a 20-minute long one for Ghost of Tsushima. So this isn't the first time they've done it. What about the rest of you guys? Did you want them to do anything else, or were you like, it's Ratchet and Clank?
Well,
I mean,
Wait, well, you got so both talk at the same time. All right, Brett, you first.
Okay. No.
Well, okay, Brian
I'll go first because
Brian has a better microphone and accent. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no one goes to KFC to buy a salad. It's called Kentucky Fried Chicken. So you don't buy a salad in places called Kentucky Fried Chicken. You buy chicken because that's what they're selling you.
Yeah.
So you can't go to KFC and say, "Hey, I'll get a salad." Like, no, you don't do that because that's not the point. The point is KFC do chicken and do it really well. That's it. This state of play was for Ratchet and Clank. If that's all they have, fine by me. Don't care.
Yeah. All right, Brett.
Oh, as long as they tell you what you're getting, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they told you straight up, But again, some people I saw. I'm not gonna name any names here, but there was one big prominent YouTuber who was pissed. Like, why the fuck did they talk about? Why didn't they talk about? I'm like, bitch, they told you what they were gonna talk about, man. It's funny, man.
He didn't get the memo on that one.
Yeah, he didn't get the memo. Sony was tweeting about this shit for 2 weeks.
To be honest, like for me, it was just like, all right, it is what it is. I didn't feel like I needed anything, and I also didn't kind of feel like I needed to tune in. So that's what I did.
There you go. And I will admit I was a little biased too because I love me some Ratchet and Clank. So I was like, let's fucking go. All right, man. Moving on.
It looks nice.
Real quick.
Oh, what's up?
If you guys, and telling the audience here, if you guys watch that stream, do yourself a favor, and it looks awesome. But do yourself a favor and go rewatch the 4K version of it on the video on demand. It's freaking nuts, man! It looks so good.
Carlos, remember when you did that for the Ghost of Tsushima one? I'm bringing your memory back, man. You remembered that shit. You just didn't know it was called a state of play.
They just name it something different. I mean, the thing is fine,
Yeah, but no, because they do that all the time. They stream it, and then you get the 4K one right after the stream.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I find it funny that PlayStation doesn't have to do an Aaron Greenberg because Aaron Greenberg, before everything that Microsoft does, like, all right, guys, I'm just here tweeting to temper your expectations here. Nothing big is gonna happen.
Yeah, no, they don't do that shit. All right, let us move on. Next question. Also from Mr. Illustrated Dio. This one's a fun question. Will you use PlayStation Home on PS5 if Sony brings it back? And he goes, I will. I'm gonna troll thirsty bros with the female avatar again.
Oh, remember?
Oh God.
I remember. I'll tell that story later.
Yeah.
He goes, Sony better bring back a new season of The Tester and a watch along movie theater in home. That live stream service they had on PS4 was lit and hella fun. So on home is the only game where I made myself, like, hey, that's supposed to be me. I'm making myself. So I made a look at myself. And then I was like, I'm tired of looking at myself. So I made a girl, right? As a test. Yo, as soon as I made a girl avatar, I had 20 motherfuckers swarming me, asking me my age, height, and size. I'm like, damn. And I just thought, I'm a dude. Motherfuckers just spread out. And they went away. Thirsty motherfuckers, man. Manny, I'm gonna go to you first because you were the big PlayStation Home guy with Z.
I mean, but yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I feel like a lot of it is a bunch of missed potential. Like there's a lot of different things in there that just if they didn't make those additional events and things in there, I feel like I wouldn't have been really interested in. I thought the She thing was a pretty cool like AR sort of deal where you sort of had to solve the different things, and then you got all kinds of different additional stuff that you could wear in the game, the thing in the home and all that stuff. So I thought it was cool, but I think at the same time it was just like it was a missed opportunity. It's funny because I tweeted about this, because there's that rumor that it's supposedly getting supposedly coming back, or they licensed the name PlayStation Home, again, or they re-up the copyright on it. And I was like, oh, does that mean we're going to be getting a trophy room, the PlayStation Home trophy room that they demonstrated? And I posted the friggin' video of our boy Phil Harrison talking about it and showing it off. So yeah. Hey, I'll try it out just like I did the last time. And I wasn't a person that really bought a bunch of shit on there, but it was an interesting thing.
They better bring back the hip hop gamer belt, man.
That was the other thing on my tweet. I said, hey, so does that mean are we gonna get our trophy room, and are they gonna bring back hip hop gamers belt because I missed out on it last time?
Yeah. For me, no, I don't care. Home was stupid, so I'm not bothering.
I mean, it was a lot of hype because it was like there was nothing else to do on the PlayStation 3, to be honest. So a lot of people hyped it up. Speaking of hip hop gamer, I think he was the biggest home fan.
Yeah, he was. Well, they had his belt in there.
Yeah, and a lot of the hype of it was more of the potential of home than what it actually was. Kind of like what Manny was talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, I don't think I'll try it. I might try it, but it's something that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. JNL says PlayStation Home should be like Roblox. Let independent developers make games that launch from within PlayStation Home, exactly like the arcades in Shenmue or Yakuza. Yeah, that could be cool.
It's funny because they actually did. It's funny because they actually did do that.
They did have arcades. Yeah.
A lot of those. There's quite a bit of games that were in PlayStation Home that were only just like things that you could do on a PlayStation Home.
Yeah.
Like, and they, the company that developed the AR She, they also made a bunch of different other games within and spaces that corresponded with them. So they were doing this. It's just,
Yeah. And I know they had a feature where it's like, hey, get together with your friends on home, then launch into a game. I'm like, why are we adding that extra step?
The part of it was so slow because it was because PlayStation Home never ran fast ever. Even if you had fast connection, it just never ran like lightning quick. So what did you get? You got like slow things. So like, okay, go. It was already slow to launch a game on a PlayStation 3 already.
Yeah.
So then now you had the extra step of logging into home and then waiting for the connection and then finally starting the game.
Yo, man, why do we need to go to a virtual dollhouse to play games, man?
Remember that shit, exactly. John Shaw? Fuck home. And
by the way,
she's a dollhouse.
Yo, man, what they need to do instead of this, remember folding home?
I remember folding at home. Yeah,
they need to do that, but instead of getting using that processing power for that research, do it for Bitcoin, man. Let us make some money.
Dogecoin and shit. That shit is funny, man.
Can Can they make folding at home into a game? Like, in other words, it's like Resogun where you're just like shooting the viruses, and then your score helps for research.
Yeah. No, use folding at home for fucking NFTs and shit. You know.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm
burn as much energy as possible.
I'm not gonna go. I'm very curious about that, but we're gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna say I've decided that NFTs were created to sucker gullible rich people from their money. I think that's really what NFTs are for. Like, so it's just dumbasses buying this shit. You know. Like Megadeth had this NFT, like, oh, the first NFT, look at this. I'm like, I could right click and save that shit for free. Like, this idiot spent $18. I'm like, I could just download it right now for free, you know? Anyway, PlayStation Home, any takers here?
I'm excited. I've always liked it.
Oh, you liked it? Bro, what are you excited about Home? What are the potential of Home?
I always liked the concept, man. Like I said before, like I used to have a PC that when you logged on, hold on, there we go. When you logged onto the PC, it started in this like weird living room kind of thing, and you could go into the art gallery to look at pictures, or the arcade to go to launch games and things like that. It was actually pretty intuitive and just kind of fun. Yeah, it's probably easier just to swing over the mouse and double click an icon, but there's a sort of thematic sense that it made. Like, oh, if I want to do this, I go into here. If I've got work to do, I go to the little study area, and then I can launch all my programs, or walk in the arcade and the boxes for all your games are displayed. You know, it's just, honestly, even if it adds an extra few seconds, it's just, it never really worked. The same thing everybody else has said, it's just missed potential. But if it actually had hit that, it would be pretty cool. Like, I see no reason to, especially if you are sitting on fucking time and you're 17 years old, sitting in PlayStation Home waiting for your friends to get back to launch fucking Fortnite. I can see it be a thing. It affects me now less as an adult than when it first came out, even though I kind of was an adult then too.
You were about to say you were an adult then too, bro.
Shut up. It affects me less now since I have less time, but I still think the idea would be cool.
Yeah, I blame Phil Harrison.
Here's a fun thing. If you guys are interested in Home and all that stuff, there's actually a pretty good little mini documentary I think IGN did about these people that are sort of trying to resurrect Home itself, using as much data and stuff that they could get together to sort of semi relaunch it. It's an interesting thing. It's like these kids, essentially kids at the time playing PlayStation Home. Because think about it, we were all adults at the time. So these are like kids that, well, maybe not you.
Carlos was 13,
Carlos was like, fuck Home.
Yeah, fuck Home.
Let's play some. Carlos is like, let's play some Halo. That's right. That's my virtual chat room. So, but yeah, like there's a bunch of these kids that are, obviously grown now and got into like game development. They're sort of trying to resurrect Home in some sort of way.
They're trying to return home, man.
They're trying to return home.
Oh man. All right. Anybody else? Home, Chris? Home? Care?
Oh no, I'll pass.
Brian, I know you don't give a fuck, right?
You're like, man, I like Second Life better.
Yeah, Brian, you don't give a fuck, right?
Look, I never touched that shit
Fuck
either.
Second Life. I got a real life already, man. Brian, what do you say about Home?
I just want my trophy room. That's what I want.
Yes, Phil Harrison, where you at, bruh?
Phil Harrison, promises you don't intend to keep.
I was so excited. I was like, okay, cool. Finally, trophies are useful for something rather than just making you feel good. That's like, okay, cool. Get show off my trophies, get hold them. They actually mean something. But no, it's like trophies mean nothing. Oh, trophy room, great, and then nothing. And Tony, I actually did get the belt.
Oh, you got the belt? Oh shit!
I got the belt.
Nice.
Second I found out about it, I was like, get that damn belt going. Let's go.
All right, I'm going to sidetrack a little bit. Manny, swerve a little bit so people can see your cat. There he is. And now he's not. And now he doesn't want to do nothing as soon as I talk about him.
Nah, he needed a moment to scratch his head with his foot. So
now he's back.
Then, now he's back to sleeping again.
All right, podcat. We know we got to have at least one podcat per episode. All right.
I mean, how many cats do we have in general? Chris has got one.
Well, Chris, he's on a camera, so it's just you and Brett, showing off your cats.
Yeah, and then Brett has one, and then I have two.
When Chris gets back, we're gonna have podcast dogs,
No, I have a cat. I have a cat too. She's sitting right here.
Yeah. Well, Chris, when you get your camera back, we're gonna have all your pets on, man.
Oh yeah, all my dogs too.
Got dogs.
Got dogs. All right, let's move on, man. Where the fuck are we right now? Mob hits. All right. Will Sony will Sony fans buy an Xbox if Starfield is a true exclusive? I think diehards won't. They'll be like, "Fuck that shit. Fuck that
No,
shit."
they'll just talk shit about it and review bomb it.
Yeah. By the way, that's going on with Returnal right now. The fucking Xbox and shit review bombing it.
Hey,
Pathetic.
I think some of those are fucking deserved.
A zero, Brad. No game deserves a zero unless it's completely fucking broken. You know.
Oh yeah, like how it's completely fucking broken for me.
All right, I guess Brett's one of those guys review bombing it.
Well,
but if I had to review it, I would give it a 0 because it's literally unplayable. And by default, if the game cannot be played, it gets a nothing. The same way you grade a fucking paper that never got turned in.
So it's funny because that you mentioned, because speaking of Brett's issues, those are actually issues that are known, and I thought that the
Brett's not alone,
update
man.
fixed it. I thought the update fixed that stuff, but yeah. It sucks.
But yeah, again, I don't know. I think some people will like, hey, I need to get an Xbox now. Let me go check out the Starfield, But like the diehard crazy PlayStation guys, they're not budging, bro. They're not budging. So those guys are lost causes, Just like on the other side, the hardcore Xbox guys, they're lost causes, Nintendo fans in general are just lost causes, though. So we don't talk about that,
They got their own thing. It's called Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, right. The greatest game ever. I don't really have anything to add to this question, to be honest. What about you guys?
I mean, I agree exactly. I agree exactly with what you just said, because it's like, yeah, if they're the type of gamer that it's like, okay, whatever it's on, I'm gonna play it on there. Then they'll do it. But then there's also those diehards that just like, they're sipping the tea or whatever you want to call it, from each of those each of the companies, and they'll just be like, nah, I'm not gonna go bid or be sour and start saying it's something like it's what do they call it, anti-consumer and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that shit's coming. Hold on, I gotta read this comment. Video Games X Life, I like that name. He goes, it will sell some who actually have money. I think fanboys are just broke. Listen, I didn't want to say nothing, but listen, there's certain people who maybe they can't afford both systems, so they have to talk shit to justify their purchase, especially if they feel they've made the bad purchase. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Like, it's a sad thing, because again, I grew up on I fucking played. Me and Adam had the fucking ultimate failure of consoles, which was the 3DO, and we were quite happy with it.
Hey, shout out to 3DO, man.
Yeah, shout out to 3DO, and then again, those of us who owned a Sega Dreamcast,
Hey, I bought the 32X and the Sega Saturn, man. So
yeah,
I don't regret nothing.
And I wasn't, and to be honest, like for me, the only reason why I didn't even invest in a Sega Saturn was because I already invested in a 3DO. So I'm like, I mean, not a 3DO, but a 32X. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna. You can kind of. If I would have bought the Sega Saturn if the 3DO, I mean the 32X didn't came out. Yeah,
they fucked up. All right, let's move on. We don't really have anything to add to that question. All right, the next question is,
go where the games go.
Yeah, exactly. Go where the games go. That's right. All right, what does Street Fighter 6 need to be successful? First thing, don't just have arcade mode. Actually, no, excuse me. You need arcade mode. Have it so it's actually accessible to everybody but the FGC guys. That pissed me the fuck off. I bought this game. I was hyped as fuck as a Street Fighter, right? I bring this game home. There's no fucking modes in there. It's just online modes, and that's it. Then they threw in the content like a year later. All the good shit. They had arcade mode, story mode, all this shit. I'm like, why wasn't this day one? And I always say this, Mortal Kombat is the perfect example. You give the regular guys, like their content, you get the story. Like, cause some guys just want to go in there doing Scorpion, get over here. They just want to do that shit. And you get the FGC guys what they want, right? Competitive shit. That's what Street Fighter 6 needs to do. Like, off the bat, just make the game for everybody. Make it for the casuals, make it for the hardcore, everybody wins. Not just for the FGC dudes. That pissed me the fuck off, man. I was so disappointed by that game. And then it's like, oh, great, you finally made the game that we wanted a year later. I'm done. I've always said this on Throwdown. If your game doesn't get me when it first launches, I don't care. That's your only shot. I don't come back, oh, we fixed the game, we made it better. Fuck that. You lost me. Should have had it better in the first place. Fuck that shit. That's my little rant. Chris, get in here. Street Fighter 6.
Oh, wait, is that, what was the question again?
Damn, Chris.
Oh, what does it Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, well, don't do what you did last time. Don't launch a half-ass game.
Yes.
Right? Because I bought Street
Yeah.
Fighter Five, barely had a story mode. Had like these little comic panels. I'm not knocking that. Didn't have a full story. Didn't have most of the characters in there. The multiplayer was jacked up. And that you have to make sure your netcode is like fucking
No
butter,
spectator mode.
right? No,
Yeah.
yeah, no bullshit like that. Like it has to be butter. Look at how
Gotta be buttered.
yeah, I mean, look at how Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite launched next to Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Yeah.
It was a joke. Like this is Capcom is supposed to be the king of fighting games. They have Arc System Works just slap them down like that. Get the fuck out of here. That
You know?
bullshit. I mean, it's everything has to be butter. You got to come out and don't come out with bullshit like, oh, there's going to be DLC characters because we know you, Capcom. You've done this before. Don't lock characters into the game and make them pay DLC. Launch all the shits outright. And if you don't have characters ready, they better not be in the fucking game because people are going to call you out and find them, right? So put your roster in there. And hell, if you want to have extra people bring back characters, I see you're doing it like from Project Justice and stuff. You need more of that. And bring back some of the Darkstalkers too. Why not throw everything in there? You have huge rosters from other games. Throw everybody in there. Fuck it. Like just make it the Capcom Festival game for all I care. You know? Yes, all the modes and the online multiplayer has to be butter from day one. Don't fuck that up.
Yeah, just have it with content. Carlos, I know you were pissed off about Street Fighter 5 as well.
Yeah, I mean, for all the reasons that Chris mentioned, they released a freaking beta.
Yeah.
They didn't release a full-fledged game, and that was bullshit. And it was, it got a lot of hype because it was a exclusive to the PlayStation at the beginning. I don't is it still exclusive?
Yeah, it's still exclusive. It's on PC too, but yeah, it's exclusive. Console exclusive. You know?
Yeah, so whatever they did, they didn't put that much money into this game. And that's unfortunate. I mean, and that's kind of like what they've been doing with Street Fighter recently. Like, Street Fighter 4 released and, didn't really get good till Super Street Fighter 4, at least for me. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that they didn't do was mentioned. And it's bullshit, man. This is supposed to be their big game.
Yeah.
Street Fighter was the best-selling franchise until I think something surpassed that recently.
Probably Monster Hunter. I wouldn't be surprised if it's that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be with Rise. Yeah,
Rise.
Man, I don't know what. And we always talk about how, everyone asks, "Is Capcom back? Is Capcom back?" That's the missing piece, man.
Fighting games.
They need Street Fighter to come back as a heavy hitter. That and Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
So just release the game in its entirety. Don't release it half-assed. Make sure it has spectator mode. Make sure it has all the characters. Just release a complete game. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. And actually, I wouldn't even release a Marvel vs. Capcom game until Marvel and Disney get off their bullshit and Capcom says, demands like, you need the X-Men. Need the fan favorites in there. Don't bullshit us and it's like, oh, you can't have Wolverine and all that. No, then don't make the game. Just like, fuck it. Until you get your shit straightened out.
That was such bullshit. We don't have Phoenix, but you have Captain Marvel. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's hilarious though. But like now they don't have that excuse, right? Now Wolverine could be in the game because now they want to play that game.
Yeah.
It's like such a silly thing. Where like, oh, we can't have them, advertise anything. It's like, come on, they can't use that stuff. It's only since the comic characters. It's not freaking Hugh Jackman.
No, didn't they said something? They said something about you don't. I forgot. I'm paraphrasing. Probably. I'm probably worse than paraphrasing. But they said something. Oh, I don't think people want those characters in this game or something. They said
something like that.
Yeah.
What did they say?
You know what they said? What? They said that characters are just functions, right?
Yes.
So Magneto plays the same as Nova and on that bullshit. I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, that was bullshit. Stupid, man. Yeah, people don't care about the characters; they care about the functions. Get out of here, bro. They care about the characters.
Yeah, man. People want to do that fucking Berserker Barrage. They don't care about that thing.
Yeah, I want to do optic blast.
Yeah, you want to do all that stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brett.
That's why we have Ken and Ryu.
Yeah, right.
Same fucking character. There's lots of characters in games that have the same moveset, but they're different characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like omitting Sub-Zero because he wears a ninja outfit.
Yeah, it's like, he's already there. It's like Scorpion.
We already got a ninja, so
Yeah.
we got this guy.
Like, yeah, you're
No.
missing the point, bro.
Not only do you have Ken and Ryu, you have Akuma, you have Oni. Like they're all pretty much the same fucking
Shoto
character.
brothers, you know.
Shotokan.
Hold on, who? JNL. I knew this. See this dude right here. He's just about the mechanics, you know. So he goes, I don't give a shit about the characters. Tons of the characters are the same mechanic and setups, so I don't care about the characters. So he's on the other end, you know. Me, I want to play as Wolverine. I want to play as Cyclops, you know.
Nah, man, yeah.
I was pissed when
Wolverine and
fucking
Cyclops.
was in
Yeah,
Fucking like my whole team was gone, man.
yeah, Gambit.
Fucking what was it? Gambit, Cyclops, and fucking Spider-Man or Strider.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
I think they still had Strider though.
Strider was still in there because
Yeah.
he's a Capcom guy, but
Yeah.
still, they got rid of like the whole roster there.
Yeah,
For me, it was Wolverine, War Machine, and Cyclops. Or Venom was also part of that rotation also.
yeah,
But man, when they got rid of Cyclops on Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I'm like, yep, boycotting this shit.
yeah.
It's like Adam.
Plus Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was trash. That shit was garbage. Throw that in the garbage.
Oh.
I'm gonna say something controversial.
Man, that's controversial. I'm not gonna. I like Marvel's Capcom 3, but it was missing some characters.
Ah man, those 3D ones are garbage. I hate both of those.
I played it.
Whatever that last one, Infinite shit.
Well, Infinite,
Oh,
that was
Infinite,
trash.
yeah,
That was
They were
trash.
both garbage.
That's the one. That's the one with fucking Dante and all of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
The
bullshit.
one where they reused a bunch of shit from the last game
Mm-hmm.
and didn't put any sort of real development time on that. Garbage.
All right, man. And that, yeah. All right, let's move on. Next question. Oh, hold on. I did not set this up, but cause this is an add-on question because this is kind of related. This one is from C. Iverson, who's my nephew. But let me get this up here because this is about a rumor that's been going around. Because there's always rumors in gaming, you know.
Question.
Why is it, you know? But it is related to what we just talked about. So, what do you guys think about the rumor that NetherRealm Studio, Mortal Kombat, you know, that they're, you know, how they had DC and all that they're working on a Marvel fighting game?
Oh, that is interesting.
That is
I mean,
interesting.
It would be interesting. I mean, to be honest, like they've sort of proved that they can do a fighting game that's
Oh, Injustice is good.
Injustice, yeah.
Yeah.
Injustice, the Injustice, not the first Justice League game that they did, but Injustice is a well done title. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be interesting.
I would be comfortable with those guys doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I just don't know. I just don't know about this rumor though. Like,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, they could, yeah.
I'm not
I mean,
gonna
they
give-
have a good
yeah.
deal with Warner Brothers doing the other games. Doesn't also Warner Brothers own NetherRealm?
Yeah, NetherRealm
do.
is owned by Warner Brothers.
Right.
Yeah, so the licensing may be a little tricky there, you know? Like Warner Brothers doing a Disney game, you know, effectively.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I mean, they seem like that, like Disney's sort of like pulling the, if they can pay the license, we'll let them develop a game sort of deal now. Like if you notice, like right now, all those Star Wars games are all game. Like anybody can make a Star Wars game
that is
instead
true.
of just EA. So like if, for the sake of conversation, NetherRealms paid that, NetherRealms or Warner Brothers paid that license. I'm not sure if Disney will just be like, no, you can't do that. You know?
Yeah.
They
This is
like the
interesting. I want to touch on this. JNL says, of the big three fighting games, and Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken, those are probably the biggest three fighting games. He says Mortal Kombat has the worst mechanics. I don't disagree with that. Mortal Kombat mechanics are great right now, but yeah, out of all three, I agree. I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
I agree.
I feel like Mortal Kombat is the light man's fighting game. Like I feel like
I don't know. I mean, Mortal Kombat now is like really difficult with combos and mix-ins and stuff. It's not like it used to be.
Yeah, I'm not. That's why, like, I guess I should say, yeah, old school Mortal Kombat. Those controls were not good. But even modern days, like, I still feel Street Fighter has better controls than even modern Mortal Kombat. You know?
I just say I understand Street Fighter and how those work. Mortal Kombat breaks my brain when I try to play it.
What about and Tekken? I don't play Tekken, so I don't know.
I don't really play Tekken. I mean, I like Tekken, but I don't.
Tekken's awkward as shit.
Oh, don't say that to Brian. Don't say that to Brian.
Controversial.
Oh,
Something controversial to say.
Did you say something?
yeah. Here we go. Don't talk shit about Tekken around Brian, man.
I know Tekken has its own thing where, like, you have right and left punches and left and right kicks. So it's like, I don't know, it's got its own thing going on.
Tekken's easy.
Yeah.
Again, as Manny said, like you have 4 face buttons, you have 4 limbs. Like, what else do you want? I don't know.
Oh,
Like-
it's not that. It's just I don't know. It's not as easy to like string together combos and pull freeform stuff as say like Soul Calibur.
Never played
Soul Calibur has the same control scheme, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
It's 4 buttons.
Yeah, that's like a control scheme for just about every
Namco, not
every
Namco
fighting game. It's either right fist, left wrist, or
And not
No.
the best 3D fighting game. The one fucking Sega needs to bring back. Virtua Fighter.
Well,
3
I mean,
buttons
they-
for that bitch. You know.
No, I mean,
At least
like
the old
most
school one.
fighting games-
I don't know about
most
the
fight-
latest ones.
Most fighting games have a different strength punches, right? So if you had a right, you have light, medium, and hard, like Street Fighter. A lot of those games have that.
Yeah.
Even what did Mortal Kombat have? They had a block button, and then they had
They had
four
high
buttons.
punch, low kick, high kick, and block.
Yeah.
That's what they had.
Yeah, hard. Yeah, like hard punch. It was like light punch. Like
light punch, yeah.
light punch and hard
yeah,
punch.
but still, it doesn't matter if it's light punch or right punch. It's still the same basic mechanics for the player. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, punches and kicks and guarding. Yeah.
And look, I'm not talking shit on Tekken. I just want to make that clear right now.
Run. That's right.
I'm
Yeah.
saying that each fighting game has its own particular style of inputting. Like Dead or Alive, one of the good things about it is it's a very fluid, freeform type of combat. You don't have to memorize a combo. Tekken is the kind of game where you have to memorize a combo. You can't necessarily just break apart combos and string them together, ad hoc. And that's fine. It's that type of game. Fucking Mortal Kombat is a different one, another one. You have to input button sequences that have no relation to the thing you're doing. You will do a combo that ends with like back up to shoot a fireball down and forward. Makes no goddamn sense. It's all about memorizing the button mapping though, and knowing what combos move into what. I'm not really sure if it's more freeform or not.
Yeah.
I put them kind of close together. Whereas like Street Fighter, the Hadouken feels like the motion you would naturally make to produce a Hadouken. It's kind of intuitive.
That is true. Down, forward. And then even you're right. It's like even with the Shoryuken, it's like forward, down, up. So yeah, that is kind of true. And then the spin kick is like half of the controller. Yeah,
Backward.
They make sense. And then there's games like Soul Calibur where you don't even need to memorize combos. You just memorize your move and then freeform them together. So when I said Tekken is awkward as shit,
Well, they do have combos in that game. Like they have a set bunch of combos.
they do have set combos,
there's
but you can just go off script so easily.
And then there's
Tekken
guys like
is a-
Maxi who essentially moves no matter what you do. Like he'll literally, you press the button once, he'll like flip his nunchucks all over the goddamn place. Like, wait, I didn't do that shit.
yeah. Maxie, yeah, he
It's
does his
him
own
and-
thing.
Him and Eddie Goro, like that from Tekken, you press the button once and they're all like moving their arms around and shit. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? I just pressed the button once.
He's just really happy to be there.
Yep.
He's just happy to be there. I know we didn't answer the question, but again, it's a rumor, so we can't really say much. But it would be cool. It would be cool. All right. Yeah. Killer. Who's talking about Killer Instinct in the chat room right now?
Killer Instinct.
All right, man. Let's move on. This question is from Black Metal Gamer. Black. All right. Due to the pandemic causing chip shortages and game delays, do you think this generation will last longer than last generation? How long do you think it'll go for? I didn't think about that. He has a point. Like, this generation's kind of been delayed for a year or maybe 2. It may go on longer than the normal generation just because of the fact that everything's just been stymied, So, Chris,
Yeah,
what do you actually, Brett, go ahead, since you're already talking.
Oh, thanks. It's it's a stupid waste of time anyway. I mean, it's that gulf that naturally happens for the first year or 2 after you have a system released. I don't know that they necessarily want to extend that. And technology is going to keep moving forward, just as quickly, so it'll be outdated at the same time, at the same pace. and they're looking at redesigning the PlayStation so it doesn't need the semiconductors to.
Wait, where did you hear that?
I read it in an article about a day or so ago.
Okay, I can't verify that. I'm like, what?
There's nothing verifiable in there. I said Sony is thinking about redesigning, making design adjustments so that it can work around the semiconductors. I mean, there's somebody from Sony that said it, but it means nothing in that instance because they're looking into it. But yeah, if it keeps going, I would be not surprised at all if they found a way to kind of adjust the design to work around it.
Yeah, Chris, what do you say, man? You think we'll potentially see a longer generation because of all this nonsense?
I'd only say no because it doesn't seem to be affecting other R&D at other companies. Like Apple and all these guys still seem to be moving forward with their plans. Even though there's chip shortages, what they're doing is they're staggering releases, but it's only like brief delays. But it's not like, hey, we're gonna hold off product releases for a year or two. So I would assume that any R&D into PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox or whatever, and whatever Nintendo's doing is already happening, right? Like, and all you could do is like you create specs, and you don't really create the hardware at that point. Like you maybe set goals, and then you would create reference systems around it, which are PCs, and then start building all your APS and stuff around that till you figure out, okay, this is the chipset we want to use, and we're going to negotiate with NVIDIA or whoever they go with, to build it, Intel, AMD, whoever it is. So I'd say no, it won't. The only way I see it delaying the generation is if the chip shortages go well into next year. If the pandemic has created a cascading effect where China can't get their shit together, and we are seeing chip shortages well into 2022 with the phones and everything, like you still see these delays, you can't get an NVIDIA card or whatever, then absolutely I would agree with you. Like, okay, this has had such a profound effect on manufacturing that the repercussions are you won't see a new generation of systems because everything is knocked off, right?
Shit.
Yeah.
Carlos, what do you say?
No, I don't think so. Especially, I think console life cycles might get smaller more than anything, because the rapid growth of technology it's only getting even better actually as things goes on. So I think one of the most important things to take into account is the user base in terms of PlayStation and Xbox, and what their expectations will be in terms of having a 6, 7, 8-year-old console, or a piece of tech in general. People don't, for cell phones, people don't usually have 7-year-old cell phones anymore. People usually upgrade, 5 years, 4 years. A lot of people do 1 year. So I think a lot of the limitations that the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X has right now is going to be more in a microscope than it's ever been before, especially since the competition is not going to be other consoles, it's going to be the cloud. And the cloud does not suffer from, whatever limitations consoles have, because they have their huge ass data centers where they, do all their processing. So I think we might have the refresh kind of like how we had last gen. Maybe we'll have it the same time, or maybe even quicker. Not quicker, because it was like 3-4 years, I think.
3 years.
Yeah, so we might have another PS5 Pro and Xbox Series X on in 3 years.
Series double X.
Double X.
Double X, yep. And then we'll have the triple X after that.
Family.
So yeah, as far as the chip shortages, it is a factor, but as far as we've seen the numbers I think have been at an all-time high in terms of a release. I think they sold over 7 million PS5s from the numbers that we got last week.
Yeah, so 7.8 million, yeah.
which was more than the PS4, if I remember
Yes,
correctly.
at the same time, yes.
So we do have shortages. The chip shortages is a thing, but as we're still doing record numbers in terms of sales for consoles. So I think the shortages are going to be prevalent throughout this year and next year. I think we might have a better idea and a better grasp of how these consoles are going to be in the wild and during the latter half of 2022. But remember, for the Wii had shortages almost throughout its whole life cycle.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't real though.
Yeah, that was artificial. Nintendo pulling that bullshit.
And Nintendo is actually the best one to squeeze every single drop out of its console, and they still upgraded in 6 years. With the Wii U, I think it came out in 2012, and the Wii was at 2006. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna have a 10-year console or even an 8 or 7-year console. I think we might have actually a 6-year console.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Brian, what do you think, man? What do you say, sir?
It's kind of a tough one to answer. Again, I'm mostly with Chris here. I don't think that this generation will last any longer than last, but it all depends on when these guys start doing their R&D, because for the most part, like, the R&D for the PS5 started well before the PS4 Pro was even out there in the wild in any shape or form. So they do R&D for a good couple of years prior, and then they get their shit sorted out. So it all depends when they start that R&D, and if chips go back in standard flow from next year on, then yeah, everything is mostly on track with them. So I don't see it lasting any longer. But if the chip shortage lasts until 2022 or 23, then it may be an extra year or so longer. But in the grand scheme of things, Sony could just do the usual refresh of the systems, do a PS5 Pro, and then just stick in another GPU chip and call it a day. So yeah,
Question.
I'm finding it hard pressed for them to have a good reason to make it longer this generation.
Brett, what's your question?
Would competition affect these at all? Because the way I see it, yeah, one company could push back a year. Do you think the other company's going to go ahead and wait another year too? Or you think they're going to put out their system to gain that jump on the next gen?
No, I think you're just talking about consoles here, right?
Mostly because you saw a lot this generation how it was very important for both companies not to let their competitor release a console ahead of them.
Right. Yeah, and I mean that is one factor, but I think the most important factor going forward is going to be the game streaming services. I think because those things, they don't really have a life cycle.
I completely agree. I will say this though, if it came out where Microsoft was like, "Hey, we're going to go ahead and stretch this out another year because we don't feel that we've gotten our money worth from the R&D, so we're going to stretch out our money," and PlayStation goes, "Fuck it, new console now." I'm going to go buy that new console. I ain't waiting another. I lived through that shit. I ain't waiting a year for this other system to catch up. That was bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's that one is hard to tell. Obviously, this year it did seem like a huge factor in terms of who released first, or who Microsoft made it a point to sort of announce everything ahead of Sony, and it helped them in terms of positive coverage, but I can't see that far ahead in terms of that type of strategy taken into account. It could be a huge factor, or Microsoft could just be going all in on xCloud and mobile at that point.
I want to read this comment from J&L. He goes, "I think it's more likely PS6 and Xbox Series WTF, we'll call it that, are going to be digital only boxes in 2028/2020, 2028 through or 2030. Publishers will want 100% revenue. Cut out everyone, considering now over 70% of the market buys digital to begin with. And remember, he works at a video game store, so he knows those numbers. So he, I've said this too. Again, that's why I love doing Throwdown. Everything's recorded. I think this potentially could be the last console generation, with traditional consoles and next gen. PS6 and maybe some little dongle that you stick on your TV and you buy a controller. It was like, all right, go play, log into the PS app. I would not be surprised by that at all. But as to the question, I'm actually gonna kind of disagree with you guys in a bit. I think this generation is going to last as long or longer than the previous ones, because we had 2 generations in a row that went 7 years. So I don't see anything that's going to make next generation be shorter, And I'm also going to say this. I don't think we're going to get mid-gen refreshes. The reason we got the mid-gen refreshes was of 2 factors. The consoles were underpowered, and then we had 4K be a thing, right? Consoles are not underpowered this time, and I don't see 8K becoming a thing for a while. So I think 7 years it's going to happen again. That's what I think. And the whole, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, isn't Moore's Law slowing down? So I don't know if technology is going to get any faster,
Not yet. It's not slowing down yet.
Yeah, because I was reading this rumors like, oh, we're starting to seeing it slow down. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Tony, they're already outdated with the invention of with the release of those new AMD chips.
Yeah, but
that's a whole new architecture. So we're already an entire generation of architecture.
But that always happens with PC, though. You know what I'm saying?
I know. But when you're saying it's slowing down, it's slowing down. But we're already lagging behind. So I don't know how much it's going to matter if it slows down the next few years. You'll still be 2, 3, maybe even 4 generations of fucking chip architecture ahead. That's what makes a difference.
Yeah, but again, again, I could be wrong, but I've already seen 2 generations where it was 7 years long. I don't see this one being any shorter. So
I don't think we were saying shorter. I think we were saying it'll be equally as long. It just won't be pushed back to COVID.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with 70. Okay, so I guess I do agree with you guys. That's 7 years. 7 years.
I never said it was going to get shorter.
Okay. I thought I heard somebody said 6. I'm like, 6 years is too short. I think it's going to be.
I said 6. That.
Okay, yeah, I disagree with Carlos then. There we go.
Why
do I have to? I don't want to disagree with the Hispanic though, man. Fuck you guys.
It's already been out a year. That makes sense.
Yeah, Carlos, man, you want to take that answer?
Hey, what was the question?
He says it's already. Go ahead, Brett.
Oh, it's already been out a year, so your 6-year mark makes sense.
You
meant 6 years from now, right?
No, I meant 6 years in total.
Oh
man, I gave that to you.
Yeah. He tried. You tried, Brett. You tried.
I can't take it because I think, with technology, we're accelerating faster. Moore's Law is actually accelerating. We're getting to the point where freaking transistors are the size of a fucking electron, and it's
wait till it gets shorter, man. When the Heisenberg uncertainty principle kicks in, it's going to be very interesting. But now we're getting too techie for motherfuckers. Moore's Law will break down eventually.
Yeah, then we'll have quantum computing.
I was about to say that. I can't wait for PS Quantum.
Yeah, that would be dope. Yeah, good luck with quantum computers, because got to keep track of those atoms, because they can just go wherever they want. I'm gonna go to this dimension right now, real quick.
Yo, man, dimensional games. You're
dimensional games.
Tapping into another You're tapping into another universe.
I can already see that shit. Yo, man, your console only uses 6 dimensions to calculate. My shit uses 7, son. Fuck that.
Oh, that's the new console war.
That's the console wars. How many dimensions do you need to power this shit?
That ain't nothing. My network connection, quantum waves.
Quantum waves, baby.
Tony, my PC is using the dimensional factors of sector 6566 teraflops.
Sector 566 teraflops. Oh God.
Oh, by the way, Tony, I do disagree with you on something.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh.
I gotta blow my nose.
My bad. I gotta rephrase it. I don't disagree, but I think I want to retell something that you said. Yes. So you're talking about how Sony might have something of their own sort of xCloud.
I didn't say that. Oh, yeah, I did say that. Yeah, I think all of them they're all gonna go cloud, like next generation. I think they all are. Not Nintendo. Nintendo's gonna get into the cloud 20 years from now. But yeah. I think Sony will have its version of the cloud. Or Manny, they could just bring back those Sony TVs with the app on it.
Yeah. No, to be honest, they have it all there waiting for them. All they need to do is just beef the shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, Carlos,
so I'm wondering.
you disagree with that?
No, that's why I said no. It's not a disagreement
Yeah.
actually.
Yes.
As far as PlayStation, I'm just wondering how the hell they'll ever do anything because Gaikai/PSN Now is cute, but Microsoft has Azure. And Azure is no fucking joke. So I think PlayStation will have to link up with, either the Googles or the AWSs or the Azures to do this kinds of infrastructure.
Wait,
Okay.
Doesn't PlayStation use Azure for
Hooked up with
something?
Azure.
They use
Yeah,
it for
they're already
something.
using Azure.
No, they use it for their for some web services,
Yeah.
but I don't think they use it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
no,
I don't think
no.
they use it for PS Now.
No, they don't use it for now. But I'm just saying they do use Azure. So who's to say Sony be like, hey, can we keep on using that shit for something else? We'll give you more money. You never know, man.
So I think that's how it's gonna have to be because I don't think Sony is anywhere. Speaking of Moore's law, they're like 100 years behind what Microsoft is doing with Azure.
Well, Microsoft has something else too, money.
That is true.
All right, good stuff. That was a good combo. All right, moving on. Next question. This one is also from Black Metal Gamer. This one's fun. Okay, what console, any console from any generation, do you feel had the most diverse variety of games?
Well, it was definitely not the last one.
PlayStation 2.
I want to say, I want to say it's either PlayStation 2 or Super Nintendo. One of those. The best consoles ever. Let's just be real here. PlayStation 2 had a lot of different games, man.
And it got to the point where it's like it wasn't even a lot to develop games for that thing. So they kept throwing around stuff.
Are they really different types of games, though? I remember a lot of clones of the PS2 era. Everything was a fucking anime RPG.
Not everything.
No, not everything.
There was a lot of different variety and shit, but there were a lot of crap games on there. Yeah, we're not talking about the quality either. We're talking about just the variety.
And Tony, I love the SNES era. Yeah, but in terms of variety, I don't know. They're all JRPGs or those side-scrolling platforming games. It's like what is it, Cool Stuff, or is it Aladdin, or is it Lion King, or is it they're all kind of the same kind of game.
Yeah, that is true. A lot of platforming games.
So I would tend to go for more recent, but not last generation. Fuck that shit. I'll go 360. Fuck it.
Nah, I don't know. I disagree with that. I think that generation was not that diverse.
I'm gonna go OG Xbox. It had all those weird fucking games on it, man. It had tons of different shit. They just throw the shit at the wall to see what stuck.
By the way, but that's still of that PlayStation 2 era. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna give the diplomatic answer. I think we had the most variety of games between the SNES era and the PS2 era. I think all that shit. That's when we got because gaming was still coming into its own, so people were just trying a bunch of different shit.
And the PS1 and 64 was a paradigm shift.
Yeah, so, it was. It changed everything,
Yeah.
So
I can go with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that because you're right. Like some of them, the thing is, they all still stuck to whatever tropes were there at that time. Even PS2 era, like Brett said, there were still a lot of samey games too. So I'm gonna go with that entire, pretty much the 90s up until the middle 2000s. And then with the PS3 era. Even though that was probably the last good era, I will admit that's when things started becoming a little bit more standardized. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. By the end of the PS3 era, we got into this era. Nothing's changed yet. Not really.
It's also the other thing about it is as the budgets for these games got on, then we got a lot of the more samey sort of titles.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, yes, it's great that everything looks amazing and stuff like that, but that all comes at a cost. So, are big companies going to be, putting their money into something that is probably that there's a good chance may not make that money back?
Yeah, didn't Sean Layden talk about that, where he was like, I don't know if dumping all this money into all these games is healthy. I could have sworn that very different mentality. That was Sean Layden, right?
Yeah, that was Sean Layden. That was one of the last things he said. Yeah. He said that we were going to, it's going to the top is going to bottom out. You know,
Very
Opposite
interesting. Yeah, the opposite of Jim Ryan.
Opposite of Jim Ryan.
Isn't that something? Opposite of
Jim Ryan is
Yeah.
Jim Ryan is saying, okay, put a bunch of money into these essentially the sequels or the games that are doing the same things over and over and over again, and then have some indie shit.
Yeah, here it goes. I found the statement. Former PlayStation executive Sean Layden.
Oh, former.
Yeah, because he had left the company at this point. He says current AAA development model is unsustainable. Right. Which I don't disagree. We talked about this. I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, Jim Ryan's on the other end. Very interesting. All right. Let's move on to the next question here. This one is from GZDR, who's also in the chat room right now. What's going on, brother? This one's a
GZ.
Yeah, GZ, not that one. This is a weird question. Okay, what edible product tied to a game promotion have you tried or found to be weird? For me, Activision came out with a limited edition Lucio Overwatch cereal. Tried it, tastes like Fruit Loops.
They had I forgot what company made T-Virus Antidote. What do you call it? Energy drinks. I tried one of those. Horrible.
I had a Super Mario Bros. Cereal, not too like a year or two ago. It tasted like Lucky Charms.
Wait, a year or two
new
ago?
one.
Okay,
Yeah,
I thought you
one,
meant the
new
one from the 80s.
No, he's talking about the new one.
No, the 80s one was essentially what was it? Captain Crunch, where it cut.
It was Captain Crunch. I had that. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, I had the old one.
Yeah. I guess I could try that. Try that too. Video game related food product.
Yeah. I guess for me, I don't know if you guys remember, a couple weeks ago, I tried this habanero sauce.
That's on the throwdown. That's recorded.
Yeah. Oh god. I'm being facetious. Obviously, that was a big deal. Made a fool of myself on camera. But I can't really like. And the beer was good that they sent. Thank you for that. Square Enix.
But that wasn't a beer. That wasn't a beer. That was.
No, it was an Outriders beer.
It was because I've had that beer before. It was like voodoo something or other. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I don't think I've had any gaming I've had like drinks at gaming events. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is the Witcher drink or some shit like that. But I've never like bought a Mario. Yeah, but I've never because I can't stand cereal, so I've never bought any of that shit. Like they never
tried the cereal console.
Yeah, no, I don't like cereal. Because they've never made like Master Chief hamburgers or something. I would buy those. But yeah, I guess for me that Outriders shit and whatever they have at gaming events. I remember there was the last Comic-Con I went to. They had some gaming theme like shots at this one bar. It was me, Danny, and Jorge and Ryan went to. It was all themed about video games, but that's about it for me. What about the rest of you guys? Any weird gaming food things that you've eaten? I'm gonna guess that's a no. It's a weird question, because whatever. All right, moving on. This one's interesting. GZD I like these questions. Very outside the box questions. How do you guys decide who goes into your friends list? Is it trophy or achievement counts? Patreon supporters. We don't even have those.
Oh God. No, we don't got no Patreon support.
So yeah, how do you guys determine who goes into your friends list on, what do you use to determine it?
Most of the people on my friends list are people that I know physically. With the exception of a scant few where there are people that I
our boy Asa,
But yeah, I'm very picky about who is on my actual friends list because I don't like the idea of having a bunch of people on there I don't remember who they are. And I do have some of those people that I have because it was we'll go back to our earlier question, during the She thing, I did connect with a bunch of people on PlayStation Home trying to figure out what the secret and shit was. So I had some of those and a lot of those people are still there, but I don't remember who they are anymore. So I don't like that. I kind of like the idea of just having people that I have specifically talked to or specifically know in person, or people that I continuously talk to, rather than just a bunch of randos.
Yeah. For me, for one, I accept everybody, but I my only stipulation is you need to have actual trophies. Because sometimes I get these friend requests, they got no trophies. I'm like, it's just a fucking like scam or phishing shit. Gone. But like this weekend, I had two guys. I don't know where the fuck they're from, but they had trophies at 20 platinums, 40 platinums. Like, all right, that's a gamer. Sure, let's go. Because the way I see it, I'm a public figure, so I'll just accept everybody. But obviously, if you do some bullshit, which most people on my friends list are pretty good, they're not like these fucking assholes on Twitter. So yeah, come one, come all. But during the PS3 era, when we could only have 100 friends, I would be very discriminate about that. Like basically, if you were not logged in for 2 months, you're gone. You're like, okay, you're not even gaming. You're gone. If you play Call of Duty, only Call of Duty, you're gone. So that was my thing. It's like, are you playing a lot of games and are you actively in there? And the reason I don't do that now is because not only because I have like hundreds of friends now, but PlayStation doesn't make it easy to see when was the last time somebody logged in. Because if that was the case, I'd be like, all right, anybody who hasn't logged in since 2 months is fucking gone. That's like the perfect way to clean things up for me. Like, you're not active, you're gone. Unless I know you personally, then I got to keep your fucking ass there for years. I'm not gonna name names.
Like my girlfriend.
I'm not gonna name names. I probably still got jobs. I'm like, damn, I know her. I can't get rid of her. She hasn't been logged in for 6 years. But I'm not trying to offend.
She'll be the first one to tell you. She'll be the first one to tell you don't just to get rid of me.
All right, Carlos, do you have any prerequisites?
Friends? Yeah, I do have friends.
No prerequisites for who you accept, man. Damn, you doth protest too much, bro.
Oh man, I thought that was where you're going.
No.
I don't. I'm not as strict as Manny. I'm not as liberal as Tony.
Oh,
I'm kind of.
Are you a centrist?
I'm a centrist.
Man, you're a centrist.
I'm a fake neutral, man. It's I don't.
I'm gonna spit up my
people.
fucking drink. Oh God.
It's one of those things where if it's someone from Twitter and I've talked to you on Twitter, I'll add you. It's all good. But if it's some like just super random person adding you and they don't tell you in the request, it's like, hey, it's so from Twitter, or hey, it's it's this person from this place, like and your gamer tag or your PSN Now ID is like something I've never seen before. I just won't accept. And also, I won't accept those gamer tags that say PS Girl.
Oh yeah,
because
they never have any fucking trophies. I was like, let me check this bitch out real quick. No trophies, you're gone. I discriminated on that shit, boy. Like you don't got trophies? No, you're gone.
I even have myself unlisted on the thing. You can't even search my name out. That's how strict I am on that, because that's also how that shit finds you.
Yeah.
By the way, if you have essentially a listed PSN, so I have my thing specifically unlisted. You can't search me or anything.
There's a lot of those. There's a lot of those accounts. It's like they're trying to get thirsty guys and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, man, decline.
Yeah, decline and block. I always block too. Like, nope, you ain't getting me again, bitch. If it's probably a dude too. Let's just be real.
Oh, it's probably a dude. Yeah.
Hey,
you want to suck on these titties? It's like, all right, bro, fuck out of here with that. All right, Chris, do you have any any prerequisites for who you accept?
Well, I just have to either know you or talk to you a little bit. Like, I don't just accept anyone. Like I've added some people that follow us here on Throwdown. Obviously, you guys. Like, so if I know you physically, so it's like more towards like Manny's rules, but I'm a little more like, oh, okay, I know you from Throwdown, or I talked to you on Twitter or something like that. Then that's cool, and I'll add you. But I get random requests all the time. I'm like, nope, I ignore all of those shits.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. If I know you and I've talked to you and we play some games sometimes, then yeah, I'll add you. Simple as. you know. And Tony, I get the same thing as you. Just random people adding me, and random people like adding me to groups and stuff. It's like, no,
fuck
get
that.
rid of this.
I block you if you do that shit to me. You know, add me into your group, you're gone. Fuck you. I don't care if you know you real life. Fuck that shit. You know.
Wait, did you block Riku?
No, Riku's cool though. You know, Riku gets a pass. He's an OG. You know, and Riku knows though. He knows better too. You know, he knows better. All right, Brett.
Yo, what's a friend?
Oh damn! Fuck those motherfuckers.
Nah, same as everybody else. People I know in real life. I have met some really cool people online. Played with them a few times and ended up adding them. But that's more on Steam than PlayStation. And PlayStation gamers are just a weird autistic loner bunch. Like they'll come together and they'll be like, "Okay, well we had a really great time playing together for like 5 hours. Bye forever."
Oh, that happens.
That happens. That's the customary way to go about things on PlayStation, but on Steam it's a little bit different. On Steam, you can catch somebody and play with them a couple of times. They could go. One of the guys I ended up playing a lot on Steam with. We met because we were playing Space Engineers and we built this crazy intricate fucking base inside an asteroid. So it was mostly hidden. It had like 4 lines of defense, turrets on the outside, turrets on the inside that were powered by like a secret reactor that was buried underneath the substructure. Well, come back one time, see some guy making off with my fucking prototype ship that I hadn't had a chance to blueprint yet. And I was like, what the fuck? And like get back to my little thing. All the guns are off and like it's just impressive, honestly. I was not even mad. I was like, how the fuck did you disable all this? That's fucking wow. Just wow. He had found a heat signature on the back and drilled in through a blind, like huddled outside the range of the turrets until they ran out of ammo. Then went in and cut the sub power. Anyway, I was just kind of like, okay, well that's fucking impressive. Meanwhile, Rachel's on there saying, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, I want you to know from this point on you will not be safe. I dedicate the entirety of my life and my time on this game to doing nothing but turning everything that enters your mouth directly into ash. And the guy was so freaked out. I was like, how about I tell you? Well, I'll bring your ship back. He brought it back, and he's like, "That's actually a really nice ship." And I was like, "That was a very nice theft job. Do you want to join forces?" We played video games for like the next 8 months together, designed these huge battleships, and like went on pillages and became space pirates. It was fucking great, man.
It's awesome.
So you essentially pulled the Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, pretty much.
The enemy became your part of
your group. Exactly.
A friend of me.
I got myself a Vegeta.
You know.
But you know when you like just fucking like somebody does something, you're like, wow, that was just that was fucking impressive right there. I don't know how you did that black magic fuckery right there, but we should team up.
Yeah. All right, very interesting stuff. So I'm the loner guy here. You know, I'm like, come on. You know, come to me, my children. Let us go. PlayStation. Why am I talking like Dracula right now?
Before it was when you weren't the open door policy and you were doing the trophy stuff. I did let the guys that were that you were trophy hunting in.
Yeah, man.
Because I was like, okay, if Tony thinks these guys are cool, then that's all good. That's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I still have a lot of those guys.
I still have them on my list.
Yeah, they're still there.
From time to time. Those guys are going strong.
They're still at it. Those guys are active. I'm never getting rid of those guys.
Those motherfuckers are still killing it.
Remember, my stipulation is like you got to be active. Those guys are still active. They're still doing their thing.
Active.
Million fucking platinums. You know, good stuff.
Yo, can I throw out there with PlayStation 5? And I think PlayStation 4, I'm not sure right now, but you have the ability to make groups and still keep tabs with people you aren't even necessarily friends with.
Yeah. So
you can make like a group of like people I play Monster Hunter with. You don't have to add them to your friends list, but you can still drop messaging, drop chats, or anything like that. So it's a nice middle ground where you can actually now get to know somebody before permanently friending them, which I think is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. See, Blitz, Brett said something nice about PlayStation, man. There you go.
Hey, the only reason I'm critical is because I believe. I don't want you to do better. I want you to be better.
You know, PlayStation, be better. All right, move on. Where are we right now? Assyrian Air Force. All right, this is a very kind of interesting question because we already have this game, but I'll ask the question. What would you think of a Sony multiverse game with a post-credit scene connecting Sony's franchises? Same thing for Xbox. But if it's a multiverse game, then you don't need to say they're all linked because the game already linked them. And we already have this. It's called PlayStation All-Stars.
And it was terrible.
And it was terrible.
Want to talk about bad fighting games?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I wanted to like that one too because I am a fan of Smash Brothers.
I didn't like it because it was like Smash Brothers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
it fell into the uncanny valley on that one.
It was bad. It was just bad. But yeah, it's like if the game is already built as a multiverse game, you don't need a post-credit scene because the whole game is that already. You know what I'm saying?
Not necessarily, Tony.
Explain.
Well, yeah, it could be a multiverse of what ifs that finally tie back to the core universe at the end.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Under that context, what do we think? Sure. Why not? It'll be cool.
You know, like what if in the world of Uncharted, well, the Uncharted they do have that little connection between Jack
Uncharted.
and Daxter.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Uncharted and The Last of Us, I still consider them the same world.
Well,
like,
they
Last
are
of Us
the
is
same.
the future of the Uncharted.
Yeah, I think. But here's the thing, though. There is that differentiating path because remember, Last of Us stops in PlayStation 3 era, PlayStation 3/Vita era.
Yeah.
And it never goes beyond that. I think Last of Us is an alternate universe from the Uncharted world.
It could be that, yeah.
So cordyceps exist in the Uncharted world, as we saw the little newspaper inside of the little bar. It exists in that world, but in that world, it never got to the point where it essentially turned everybody into zombie mushrooms.
Yeah. It would be cool. Multiverse game. Why not?
Hey man, make a PlayStation All Stars 2.
Just don't name it All Stars. Name it something else. Because name All Stars is not good for PlayStation.
I'm drawing a blank of the name. What's the DC game? The fighting DC game?
DC Universe.
Is it just
DC Universe Online?
Well,
no, the fighting one.
It was Mortal Kombat versus DC.
No.
You mean Injustice?
There we go. That's the one.
Oh.
Injustice has its own plot line that derails seriously from the main DC universe.
Oh, it's an alternate universe. Yeah.
If at the end of the game you beat it, and I don't know, I don't want to see Batfleck make an appearance, but somehow tied it into another video game franchise, or even the real world or the movie world, I can't say that wouldn't be kind of dope.
It would be. Actually, you know what I want to see in this PlayStation multiverse thing? So it's the PlayStation multiverse game, right? And at the end credits, you see Master Chief shows up. Oh shit! We're tying it all together now, And then at the end, Sony versus Xbox.
No, you know who should be the introductory guy into the multiverse? It like opens up the glowing door and he goes, "What are you buying?"
You gotta bring him, That'd be crazy. All right, that was a fun question. Moving on. Next one is also from Tumeke /Blitz. He goes, all three. Okay, we've been asked this question before, but he puts a twist on it, so it's kind of interesting.
Twist. What a twist!
Yeah, a good kind of twist. Not a M. Night Shyamalan twist, All right.
It was werewolves all along.
Oh God! It was water all along. It was a ghost.
It was the old lady.
Oh God!
The ghost.
What a hack!
You were the ghost all along.
You were the ghost. All right, bro. All three console makers are going on a shopping spree. Pick 3 developers for each console maker that you feel would be the best fit and explain why. And the choices have to be one big game, one medium game, one indie game. So kind of complicated question here.
Yeah, I don't get
Okay,
it.
so essentially they're going out there and snipping up companies and franchises, and which would you think would be the best to go with each
Yes.
company, right?
And like, for example, Sony, right? They just bought 3 companies, right? One of them has to be like a big company. Another has to be a small company, like middle company, then an indie one. And the same rule applies to Nintendo and Microsoft, whoever they buy.
Oh, damn.
Yes,
It's
a tough
funny.
one. Yeah.
As far as big companies, like who could I mean, because again, the biggest exclusive of Microsoft is money.
Yeah. No, but like for example, I think Capcom would be a good fit for Sony, right? That's a big one. And then middle one, I don't know. Then indie one, I don't know either.
Why do you think Capcom's a good fit for Sony?
The Japan connection. Simple as that.
And they made Street Fighter exclusive.
Yeah, they did exactly. You know.
Oh yeah, no.
And Capcom has a history of putting exclusives on PlayStation as well.
Resident Evil has been on PlayStation, on every PlayStation essentially.
Yeah, but it's not justify why it would happen. It said tell why it would be a good fit. I would almost argue that with the amount of multiplayer that they focus on overall, they might be better off on the Xbox being a online based system. But then again, that I'm not even sure if that still applies. Like, is Microsoft even still the more multiplayer friendly console?
Sony is actually more people play multiplayer on Sony.
Really?
People play on Sony in general, so it's.
Well, think about it. It's 100 million PlayStations versus like 50 million Xboxes.
Yeah, but I mean, that's true. I'm just thinking percentage wise, like Monster Hunter, which is their crown jewel right now, is a multiplayer game, and really Street Fighter shines multiplayer. That's where you get its biggest thing.
Yeah, but both of those biggest the most people playing those multiplayer games are on PlayStation. Understand?
Yeah,
because
Brett,
they have a
and
big
not,
user base.
Yeah,
and Brett, not all multiplayer games are created equal. Like you like when you think of Xbox multiplayer, you think of Gears and Halo, and you think of
shooting.
Yeah, and Madden and all those games. But like Monster Hunter is not a franchise. I'm like, oh, Xbox. Like
Monster Hunter is not doing that well on Xbox, man, because it's not an Xbox type of game.
You don't think so?
No, not that I think so. It isn't. It isn't selling that well on Xbox. Because Xbox guys don't like that. They like shooting games. That's just how it is.
Maybe I'm old, but it used to be like shooting games were always a part of it, but there was always kind of this like hack and slash arcadey kind of game that tended to focus itself on Xbox more.
Which games?
Like which game? Yeah.
Yeah, which games?
Which games?
Like Ninja Gaiden.
But that's not multiplayer.
No, I said they tend to focus on more hack and slashy arcadey kind of games. That's literally what I just said.
Are we? I'm confused now. Are we talking about
different points?
He's saying, it's a part of the same. Like in other words, you're talking about the best fit for Xbox. So he's also saying that another thing that he sees as part of the Xbox sort of thing is sort of hacky slashy. Games like Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I don't remember any more.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but other than that, because I've never seen Xbox as a hack and slash type of system either. Like Ninja Gaiden is literally the only thing I could think of.
With to be honest, like if you want to get technical, I do feel like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is a very Xbox.
That's an Xboxy game, yeah. Oh, that would be platinum in that case.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I feel like, and I guess they're kind of shoes, but like Dead Rising, Dying Light, both tend to seem to fall more into Microsoft's wheelhouse.
Yeah, but again, it's all weird now. Yeah.
I'm old. This could be dated information.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, because I'm like PlayStation's the actual home for multiplayers now, and it has been since the PS4 era.
But again, just because of the market share the way that it is, I don't think that's fair to make. I think it would be.
But it's the truth.
It's the truth if you want to interpret the data that way. But if you want to interpret the data per capita, per person, for each person that owns the system. How likely are they, how many play? For every 10 people that know the system, how many people play X amount of games? And you get completely different numbers. You get a completely different set of data that tells you a completely different set of
we don't know the answers to that, do we? So it's hard to say.
No, but I'm telling you, your logic is flawed. Just because more people own PlayStation does not mean PlayStation people are more likely to gravitate towards that type of game.
But generally, the numbers would put them as playing more, just sheer numbers alone. As more PlayStation guys are on online than Xbox guys just by sheer numbers. Understand?
Yeah, but that doesn't make each one more likely to play a certain type of game. You see what I'm saying?
No, I know. I see what you're saying, but you see what I'm saying. I'm like, PlayStation's where most guys are playing multiplayer. Like Overwatch.
I don't think that's because of the PlayStation ecosystem. I think that's because overwhelmingly more people bought PlayStation. So if you wanted to play multiplayer, you had to buy a PlayStation to play with your friend. I don't think people think PlayStation and think multiplayer. I will stand to my death on that one.
All right, fair enough. I disagree. I think people think PlayStation now when they think multiplayer. I think you're running off old data.
So when people think PlayStation, they think high-end exclusives, indie games, and multiplayer. So they basically think everything.
Yeah,
PlayStation
they do. Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brett, you got it.
Two systems anymore then.
What happened?
Not much.
Yeah, not much. PlayStation is the only system that matters now, man. Let's just be honest. PlayStation has just dominated everything. You know.
We'll talk about this when Starfield comes out.
Yeah. No, we're talking about now. We're not talking about the future.
Oh, hey, there's a great example. The Elder Scrolls series, is that a shooter?
No, it's not.
That's an RPG.
Yeah.
Was Dragon Age exclusive for a while?
No.
At least one of them was.
Nope. Nope. And Elder Scrolls was exclusive like during the Xbox era, you know? Or 360 era. Yeah, 360 for a little bit.
No,
360 for a bit.
hey, you can't say Sony has a history of dealing with Capcom and then negate that Microsoft has a history dealing with PlayStation. That's some double standards right there.
Well,
What the fuck are you talking about? We never said that. What are you talking about? You know, and you're the one that's flip flopping right now, dude. And I don't even know what the hell we're talking about anymore. But but to get back on track, But to get back on track, most people are playing multiplayer on PlayStation. That's just.
He just said that the thing about Capcom is that because of the Japanese connection, that it is a better fit for PlayStation than it would be Xbox. That's not to say that Capcom didn't have titles that were specifically made for Xbox.
Dead Rising. Yeah, Dead Rising.
Which is Dead Rising.
Rewind the episode. Tony says, and I quote, historically, Sony has a long existing relationship with Capcom.
Yeah.
He said it. Go back and watch. Listen.
That's the truth, though.
Okay, so I just said historically.
Yeah.
Microsoft has a relationship with Bethesda. Yeah. And you said that hasn't happened since the original. It's the same thing, man. It's the exact same thing.
But PlayStation has had a longer relationship with Capcom than Xbox has had with Bethesda, though. See? There you go.
I'm not sure that's true. That wasn't me agreeing with you.
No, well, your silence said it all, dude. You know?
Silence is golden.
Silence said it all, man. Anyway, we're getting off track right now.
I can't backtrack that off the top of my head. I ain't agreeing with you, and I ain't laying down on this one. We'll talk later.
Fair enough. You know?
So, keep going. Go ahead, Carlos.
I think...
Why we're not answering this question at all right now.
Yeah, we kind of just.
I don't think we actually answered it.
I don't think you can. Yeah, you can't. You can't answer this question.
There are no games that are better suited for Microsoft. We just established this.
Yeah.
So you can't answer the question on the entire Microsoft side.
I mean, this question is not asking you like.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
I mean, here's the like.
Actually, no. We could find some studios that are suited for them.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say for Microsoft, they take Eidos with Crystal Dynamics. That's a fucking perfect fit.
That is a good fit for Xbox.
I would say. Well, who else? Was that would be like a big company, right?
Yeah.
I would also say THQ would also be a damn good one for Microsoft.
Yeah.
How about I drop the mic real quick?
Let's see if there's a real mic drop. Let's see.
All right, Brett. If you want to talk about perfect fits, how about you say Microsoft gets Bungie? Because that would be the perfect fit.
I mean,
how about for second tier? How about Microsoft gets fucking BioWare?
Carlos, you're dropping some mics.
Talking about history, talking about games that cater towards the platform. Those are the things that matter.
I think thought of Dragon Age.
But Dragon Age was always multiplayer. But I also don't disagree with you like that. Because here's my thing. To me, Xbox screams Western. So anything Western is perfect for it, you know? PlayStation screams Japanese. So anything Japanese is perfect for it, you know?
See, there's what I was digging for earlier.
Yeah. There you go. See, we brought it back around, man.
Yeah, I just want to know what you thought Microsoft actually did.
Yeah. Western shit. Shooting stuff.
Flag.
Yeah.
I think Western centric titles, like stuff developed in the West, work very well on something like an Xbox console, because I think in general, at least a lot of the sort of Xbox players don't have a lot of patience for the Japanese weirdness.
Yeah, they don't.
So I don't see fucking like, even like just some of those odd sort of Japanese titles working out. But then again, you see, people like, I consider Adam the quintessential Xbox-ish guy.
Hey.
And I would
even he stepped out of his box and played a crazy ass Yakuza game.
Yakuza just
a lot of those games would never have gone for OG Xbox. We would have never gone for that game.
What? OG Xbox adopted all the Dreamcast games.
They did. He's right. Shenmue, the Panzer Dragoon Orta, and Jet Ryan Radio. Yeah, they did. So can't deny that.
And they all didn't do very well.
Yeah, well, because Xbox.
Yeah,
guys,
Yakuza came out because of Shenmue, so I wouldn't say that it was all a loss.
No, I mean Shenmue didn't become. It's an answer to it's like a continuation of Yakuza. But
but think about it. Where was Yakuza for many years? PlayStation.
It was on the
exclusive.
PlayStation. Yep. And so I think like a lot of time I just don't think that a lot of Westerny fans, the Xbox people have a lot of patience for the Japanese weirdness.
No, they don't.
I do think that I do definitely think that there are Japanese companies that work like a Platinum Games company works as a if they were for some reason just went exclusive, I could see them totally running the ship on an Xbox console because their games seem to have that universal appeal from both sides.
No, I would agree with that. I think that's kind of where I was trying to drift earlier. Is like yes, I agree that shooters are always a thing, but I've always kind of felt like those Westerny type arcadey or RPG games just tend to. I always played those on the Xbox, but again, dated information. I do have to say though, PlayStation is king of cinematic games. There's never going to be any taking that away. I don't think Microsoft will ever be able to claim that.
Yeah.
Even with Bethesda.
Bethesda's the perfect Microsoft studio,
But I feel like also the thing about Bethesda, like with Bethesda, is that they've been able to balance in-game storytelling with the thing. They're not doing cinematic. Yeah. They're telling you, they're giving you storytelling within the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
They're not stopping you and be like, okay, now let's tell you a little story.
Yeah, it's more of the
go fight.
It's more of the overarching narrative with Bethesda. Not like Halo. That's more of a cinematic experience in years. Those are
it is, but it's wrapped in that arcadey thing. I just thought of this and I want to share this. PlayStation, Days Gone. Microsoft, Dead Rising.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of.
There's
Dead Rising is a.
No, but I like you saw what Brett did. That was very clever, right? Dead Rising is a quintessential Xbox type of game on PlayStation. Dead Rising quintessential PlayStation game on Xbox. So, there's always exceptions to the rule there, Dead Rising, that's a PlayStation type of game, but it was on Xbox. Dead Rising, that's an Xbox type of game. It's on PlayStation, So there's always differences. There's always exceptions,
You just kept saying Death Rising.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah? No, well, you guys know what I was talking about. You guys know what I was talking about. Death Rising.
Yo, man, Dead Rising on everything is the perfect quintessential game for everything.
Yeah. Well, no, think about it. Like, Dead Rising, that looks like a fucking PlayStation game, doesn't it? But it's on Xbox.
It's goofy as hell. I take that as a
no, goofy as hell. That screams PlayStation. Remember Katamari Damacy and shit? That was PlayStation as fuck.
I do, but I feel like that's old. I feel like that's PlayStation 2 era. I think we're just arguing over what the company was once upon a time. They changed too much.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like PlayStation 2 took all these risks. PlayStation 4, pretty self-serious.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. PlayStation 3 era started, but if you really think about it, if you're going with the OG Dead. Days Gone, it's more of an Xbox game, very Western game, gritty game, but it's on PlayStation,
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's also a lot of the issue a lot of people had with that game. It is a very sort of Western-y sort of game because it was a Western company that made it.
But then again, you got Last of Us and Uncharted, super Western games too, and they're on PlayStation,
Yeah, I'll be honest. If I were executive at PlayStation, I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know why they love this game and want to fucking put it in the Hall of Fame, but then they're not getting a sequel for Days Gone. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Jim Ryan. All right,
it's got the stink of bad reviews on it. That's why I ain't coming back.
Does anybody want to answer the question for real? I don't know.
I don't think we can, man. That's a lot of.
I mean, I did.
Manny did it. Yeah, go with Manny's. The thing is, it's too speculative, and I know you threw that question at me on purpose. I don't like the type of questions, man. He did that shit to me on purpose. All right, but it was a good. It was a good discussion, though. That's the thing about even if we don't answer a question, as long as we get a good discussion out of them, that's what matters. All right.
Bungie and BioWare from Microsoft, and Capcom and the Jade Raymond studio for PlayStation. Perfect.
Oh man. All right, let's move on.
Still want to know what Jade's doing, man. Like
She's making a game.
What's she making? She's
Who
making
knows?
a game.
She's making a game. She's making a game. Hopefully, it'll actually work this time.
I just hope it's third time's a charm, man, because she has gotten the bad end of the stick on every single time she's been sitting down to make a game.
Yo, where's Amy Hennig though, man?
Amy Hennig's doing. She's got her own company now. I think she's doing like it's either VR or something like that. She's doing some sort of thing.
All right, good for her. All right,
give us a new Soul Reaver, Amy.
Yeah, that's what I want, man. All right.
Yeah, give us a son.
Oh, we can dream.
All right.
Wait, could we resurrect companies from the dead for this question?
What happened?
I said, could we have resurrected companies from the dead for this question?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Go nuts. This is a speculative question.
Somebody asked us that question, but for studios that no longer exist.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Like Rare?
Yo, let's move on, man. We're still on this fucking question. All right. Let's move on because this show's running long anyway. We got to answer these last two questions from Paul Perez. All right. He goes, big shout out to people who own all the systems and play everything. How do people find the time? So I guess he's asking, how do you guys find the time to play games?
Not. There's nothing on either one.
There's nothing to play on any of them.
Owning both systems just means I can almost game a majority of the time.
Yeah, I mean, even for me.
Go ahead. Do it.
Yeah, like I don't play as many games as I used to because I'm more picky about what I do because I have a lot of different hobbies, so I can't really manage video games as much as I used to. Video games used to be at the forefront of my mind when I was, in my teens and early 20s and a kid, but now it's like I
play that chess, man.
Gotta play chess. Gotta watch manga.
Watch manga.
Gotta watch manga.
Watch anime, read manga.
Yeah. He's watching some dude on YouTube like reading a manga and shit. That's what he's doing,
let's tell you about the new Judge Ito.
Yeah, so and then a lot of other hobbies too, but gaming, it's something that I still love and probably will always love till the bitter end, but it's not something that constitutes a lot of my time as much as it used to. I need a really special game to really, make me devote so much time into gaming.
Yeah,
like Monster Hunter.
Yeah, here you go, man.
Yeah.
My thing is simple. I play whatever I have to for work. There you go. Finding time for what happened.
But you got some games that you don't need to do for work.
That is true, but
up.
Yeah, that is true. I can't talk about it. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, I will be playing that for fun. But no, me, I have a very specific time for video games. It's pretty much 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock to midnight usually. That's my time to game. So yeah, that's my answer. 8 o'clock to midnight. I don't play games during the day. That's like, working time, right? And then other shit. Gaming is not the only hobby I have, and then I read for about like an hour or two before bed. By the way, reading a Kindle, very good for the eyes. It makes it easy to sleep, because this is related to the next question, but I'll leave that alone. But yeah, I game every night pretty much when there are games, because there was like a month I didn't play shit because there's nothing out, Chris. Oh, is he there? Oh, he's muted.
He's muted.
I'm gonna go with Brian.
Sorry, what's the question?
How do you find time to play games across multiple consoles or systems or PC or whatever?
That's a tough one. With me, it's just a case of what I'm in the mood for. So if I'm in the mood for something just chill, relaxing, hop on Elite Dangerous. If I'm just looking to smash some things in the face, then I play something else. Again, it just depends what I'm in the mood for. And the mood mostly depends on what I've not played in a long time. So right now I've not played a racing game in like a year and a half. So chances are I'll play Burnout soon or Need for Speed soon. Just, again, that itch is there. And in terms of finding the time, it's more of a case of I tend to play quite a lot after work and before I need to do the household chores. So usually finish work at 5, and then I start cooking around 6 or so. So in that time frame, I'll play something, and then usually depends on how I feel. I'll play something after I eat, and that tends to be how I work, and it works well.
There you go, Brett.
I totally spaced on the question.
Damn. How do you find time to play games?
Oh, you have to dedicate time to it. I'm actually a big believer that there are two types of entertainment. There's passive entertainment and active entertainment, and that you kind of need to do both. Just sitting around watching TV is fine, but it just kind of puts you in like a delta wave zombie state if you do it too much or you're not watching things engaging enough. So, as a believer, that I also say, you need to put stuff in to get stuff out. So you need to take in creative endeavors to be able to do creative things. So I try and make sure that I don't just sit down and binge watch whatever show I'm on or whatever. If I have 2 hours a night, I'll try and not fuck around, sit down and actively focus on getting to play my game and playing my game. You'd be surprised at how much time is just left over here and left over there when you're just kind of fucking around here doing this, watch part of a show, make a sandwich. So if you really focus on trying to get to your active time the way that you get to other things that you have to do, you'd be surprised that the hour or two that you can pull out a night pretty easily.
All right, Chris, how do you find time to game?
Oh, I just make some time to relax in the evening, and that's when I usually game. That's my activity to relax, So after work and everything, after I get back and help take care of Olivia and all that stuff, usually after that, then I'll game a little bit. Not so much as I used to, but I always find a little time on the weekend too. That's when it's like, oh, okay, I'll play a little something. But yeah, you just make some time. You can find the time to do anything. You just have to work it into your schedule. Like if you want to read, or if you want to exercise, you just make the time. You just find the time to do it.
There you go.
I do that with relaxation.
Nice, Manny.
Yeah, I guess for me, I don't. I mean, first of all, I actually don't own all the consoles. It's not that I can't afford them, but it just doesn't make any sense to me to sort of invest in a console that that doesn't exactly have the things that I really want to play on it. And then number two, I also don't have a lot of time to devote to it. So I don't actually, make the time to play everything. I make the time to play the things that I really wanted to play. So if it means, playing a Nier, and I take however long it takes me to play that, the last Nier Automata took me about a year to finish off. So if I'm going to just continue to play that one game, this long ass, crazy ass long game, then I'll play that. So it's sort of just like that. I don't try to play everything. I try to play the things that I want to play, and then, and then I sort of leave a little bit of space if there's something that just comes up unexpected that I would really want to do. So yeah.
Something I'd ask you guys though, are you guys mostly one game at a time type of dudes? Because it seems to me that this would be a bigger problem for people who have a lot of consoles and they play a lot of games simultaneously. Because to me, I'm like, okay, I have all the consoles, but I only focus on one game at a time, so that doesn't factor into anything. Does anybody skip around here, or
before anyone answers, can I just say, I think, and this is how hopefully I know everyone, I think Brett is the only one as usual
that skips around.
That. Yeah.
For me, it has to be the right fit. I am not going to play 2 fucking 300-hour games like Red Dead or Nier at the same time, because it's just, I can't do that. What I'll do is it'll be like a big game, and then it'll be like a smaller game, like a beat 'em up or a fighting game, something that just doesn't need the as much mental power as maybe something like an RPG.
Yeah,
or open world.
I don't know, Brett. I don't think you're a multi-gamer type of guy. You seem to focus on one thing at once, or am I wrong? Actually,
Manny just hit it on the head.
Really?
Yep. I I mean, is it really surprising after how much I've talked about the value of activity games?
Yeah. Well, that is true. Yeah. So Manny, you would play 2 games at once?
Yeah, sometimes like I've played
Interesting.
like but again, the games have to. The one will be the big guy, and then one will be the smaller thing. But they won't be things that sort of cross over. They won't be 200-300 hour games.
Yeah.
It'll be like, okay, I'm playing let's say we'll go back in time. What was it? It was one title that you didn't play. Like, oh, okay, it was whenever Journey came out, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was an Uncharted game that came out, right?
It was Mass Effect 3.
Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
I actually played Mass Effect 3 and that game at the same time because Journey is a smaller game. It didn't need a lot. There wasn't to it. You could beat it in maybe in about 2 hours. So
Yeah.
I played that, and then as the palate cleanser light game, I played Journey.
Interesting. Yeah. You guys know me. One game. That's it. That's all I'm doing. And when I play a game, that's all my attention is drawn to, and that's that. Because man, and that's a good point. When I try to do that, it's kind of disastrous. Because I was playing Mass Effect 3, then I was like, let me play Journey 2 hours, and I was like, this game's stupid. Because I was just like, I want to fucking kill. I'm in Mass Effect mode, and it wasn't until I played Journey like in the summer by itself and nothing. I'm like, hey, this game's good. So I just, and I do this with everything. If I'm reading, I'm not reading 3 different books. I'm one book at a time. If like comic books are the only thing just because they're short, I'll read like 6 of them or something a day, just because they're so short. But like video game, I need to have my full attention on one game. Yeah. But the thing is, when I play a different time, my work dictates what I play, just being honest here. But if I have control over it, I try to be like, okay, I just played this giant fucking open world game. Let's switch to a something smaller and then build up to another giant game,
But see, is that included in the question? Because I feel like we took the question of like, well, are you playing?
No. This is my question. No, this is my question to you guys now. Understand?
Oh, okay.
We answered the question already. This is my question to you guys now.
I think I'm with Tony on this. I do fall into the whole comparative gaming kind of thing whenever I do play multiple games. Like, for example, I played, and this is the biggest example that we always bring up, is I played fucking Breath of the Wild, like pretty much at the same time I was playing Horizon.
Yeah.
And I couldn't play Breath of the Wild. I was so...
Those games are so similar, though.
Well,
that's the thing. Like,
but that's also the problem. It's like and I'm just talking about me and Carlos because we had the same experience. Like, you come off this big fucking badass, the baddest fucking steak you had. You've been thirsty for the steak because you haven't eaten that whole generation and shit. So you go from that to a hot dog. It's like, bro, nah. You know what I'm saying?
You go from that to a baked potato. They can complement it. Take it this way.
Yeah.
I'm playing Persona 5, right? I'm loving it. I'm loving the action. I'm loving the style. But you know what? I have this deep-seated itch to pummel the ever-loving shit out of something. I'm getting so bored of other people fighting for me. I just want to go in and do nothing but fight for just like half an hour to an hour. Pop on Yakuza.
Yeah, but then you have the sort of lighter game or something that does a little bit something different, and then you can kind of play them together. Granted, I probably would never put 1,000-hour game, 2,000-hour games like that together. But the one thing I can do understand on Brett's side is that there is that sort of the gameplay, the gameplay action of that game. In other words, you can drop into a Yakuza game and just continuously run around and punch people in the face. So I can understand why he would like to go jumping onto that after essentially playing a game where essentially the game controls itself. You just tell it go.
Yeah, and then the other thing I noticed, just real quick, because when I have tried to play multiple games, I notice it takes me longer to finish them. So I'm like, it's more efficient to stick to one game, finish it as fast as possible, then move on to the next game, finish that as fast as possible, move on to the next game, because when I'm trying to play all 3 at once, it actually takes me longer to play each one because I'm not devoting as much time as I possibly can to them. So because again, you know me, I like being efficient about shit, so I just find that more efficient. Stick to one game, move on to the next, but also try to make sure the following games are different from the previous one, just to, make sure my mind doesn't go crazy.
But see, here's the problem with that. Like, if I have to play a game, like, say, Assassin's Creed, just straight fucking through. By the time I'm finishing it, for like the last 20%, I'm not even wanting to play it. I'm just wanting to get the game fucking over with. And I don't like playing like I can understand.
Yeah, this is just for me. I know it's not for you. It's like for me, like when I'm in it, I have to finish it. Unless it's a special circumstance like Returnal, I'm not finishing that fucking game. It's like my patience is done. But with Assassin's Creed, since it doesn't take that much energy to finish it, I'm like, Tony, finish the fucking game, bro. You know, and you know me, I don't like that feeling of not finishing something. It bugs me. It bugs me more than playing through something I don't want to play. I'd rather go through that than have that feeling in the back of my head. It's like you never finished that game. It bugs the fuck out of me. I can't do it. And that goes with anything. I don't like things that are left unresolved. I hate that shit. And with games, I have actual control over it. So I'm finishing that shit if possible. You know.
I'm the same way as Tony because, and Brett, I guess it's the opposite of you. But like for example, with me, if I'm playing, for example, Persona 5, and then there is another game like Red Dead Redemption 2. Two huge games, but two completely different games.
You're finishing that Persona first. Yeah, you're finishing that Persona first, aren't you?
Yeah, well, yeah, because it depends on which game I'm liking more. Yeah. And it's like I'm playing Persona 5, but then it's like and then I go to Red Dead Redemption 2. Obviously, I'm gonna think one is better than the other, and one is more compelling to me to complete. And I can't really do that dichotomy of two different things at once because it feels like it's taking a long ass fucking time just to get to a place that I want to get. Yeah. And with Persona, it's like I want to see what the hell happens with the story. And if there's something in between that and something impeding that, then I'm just going to think more negatively about Red Dead Redemption 2. That could be my second favorite game of all time. But if I'm playing my first favorite game of all time, then I'll look at it differently. You know, it's weird, but
I get it.
I think that's why Manny and I said the two conditions are that they have to be very different types of games, and that one is a big game and one is a small game.
Yeah. No, and the thing is, you guys are actually,
or it has a simple aspect to the game. So
no, that's a very good way of playing it. And I just don't do it just because I want to finish the game fast. But that is the best way to play games. If you have to play 3 games at once, make sure they're different games, and you're going to be okay. Because if you're playing 3 third-person shooters, how are you going to keep them together? It's going to get all mixed up in your head. Yeah. That is a great way of doing it. You know, yeah.
Also, there's a distinction between the big game and the little game. Actually, makes a difference here. You're usually slogging through a big game, taking a lot of content, and getting fatigued. Stepping back and busting out a game that's going to take you 12 hours isn't going to take you out of your other games so long that you're not going to be able to jump right back into it, but with a little bit of a refreshed feel.
I think I could simplify it even more, maybe. I think it's a narrative game versus a non-narrative game. Because I used to do this a lot with
Yeah, that's also it too. That also works incredibly too. Like a game that isn't dependent on being so narratively driven, right? Mm-hmm. One that doesn't need you to explore every single nook and cranny of the game.
Right.
That there's that versus playing like Streets of Rage, where it's your progression is simple. It has just enough story to get you from each place to place, but for the most part, what is your main action? Punching things in the face.
Right? Yeah, well, the beauty of that thing, that kind of gaming, and the reason I think it should be practiced more is if you play that way, you don't have to have a game that gives you everything. You don't have to have a game that's a cinematic game and an open world with fucking racing on the side and a multiplayer option. Like, you can play separate games. It's cool. I actually really like it when a game devotes it to one central focus. That's one of the things I do respect about Returnal is they had a fucking vision.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't let it get muddled up by what's popular.
Well, as Chris,
they didn't throw a driving game in there.
As Chris always says, a lot of big AAA games now are the Applebee's. Everything you get everything. All right, thank you guys for indulging me with that one. And the last question of the night here, also from Mr. Perez. This one is not gaming related, but I'm going to allow it because we still have to deal with this shit. What do you gentlemen do regularly to step away from screens? We look at them for work and entertainment far too much. Yes, this is always a problem. Like I said, the last 2 hours of my day, can't do it now because it's too late. I read my Kindle, no illumination, no backlight. I go read like a book, go right near my light and just read. And I feel that helps me out a lot because I had some problems sleeping. Now I sleep a good 6-7 hours ever since I started doing that, So that's what I do because it's not. And then the other thing I also do is during the day I have my blinds open so the glare of the screen doesn't get, like the natural light blocks out the glare of the screen. And I notice it too when it gets, so around 5 o'clock when it gets dark, that's where I'm like, I'm done with work for the day. I'm not doing, because it's just too much, and I sit far enough from my screen so it doesn't really bother me. So I actively do that shit because I don't wear glasses and I want to stay that way, so I'm not trying to fuck my vision up. Manny, what do you do? What do you do? Because you're Mr. Screen all day, every day.
I mean, I'm always at the screen. I mean, it's the way I sort of been getting away from the screen, where I sort of go to the living room and sort of stuff, like, or I'll take a walk or something. Like, I've been sort of messing with like customizing figures and stuff like that. So it sort of got me to sort of sit in the living room and not look at anything. I mean, the one thing I do, like, I've, again, with doing some of the little bits of walks that I do, is that I just sort of refrain from looking at my phone and just be in the moment of things. And this is kind of this sort of thing sort of happened essentially from being sick from COVID, and I could do nothing but just be there and wait and be there in the moment. So I sort of tried to continue that, where it's like, don't look at any of the screens, go away from everything, and then come back, sort of stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Carlos.
Ah, man. For me, it's, especially during this whole lockdown COVID era, it's impossible for me. Like, it not only do I work with the screen, I consume my entertainment. I talk to my friends, like right now. I'm talking to my friends looking at a screen, or through another Discord with other friends, or through a video game. I talk with friends, so it's all predicated on a screen. So yeah, it's hard. The only thing that I do that takes a lot of time, that it doesn't have to do with a screen. When actually it does. I work out. I work out at least an hour and a half a day. But I have my iPad there to watch videos and stuff, to keep me like motivated and stuff. So it's right now it's really hard for me. Back pre-COVID times, it's like, okay, I would go out every weekend, at least one day in the weekend. I would go out, hang out with friends, go to a bar, do some stuff, watch a movie, or do hang out, go on a date or something like that, or go travel. I went to my last trip was in New Orleans with Tony.
Yeah.
We didn't see a screen the whole time.
Nope.
We saw a lot of other stuff.
Hey,
we didn't even see a screen. So that kind of stuff is gone right now, and it's unfortunate. So it's really hard to get rid of that kind of bad habits. And I mean, I wear glasses, so. So my vision's been fucked up since I was a kid.
Yeah, it's just the thing of the modern age. What is the first thing you do in the morning? You know what I do, right? Open up Twitter. My eyes aren't even open yet. I'm just like, all right, bro, let's see what's up. Do
you ever get where you're like just laying in bed, you have your phone in the top of your hand, and your phone just falls in your face?
That hasn't happened to me, but I've heard that happen to people. Now, I just had it where it's like it just falls off my hand or something. Like, oh, my phone's still there, because like the vibrate, because I don't have my phone on. I always have it on vibrate, so something like, I'm like, what the fuck? Oh shit! I just let it drop. That shit. But literally, the first thing I'm still like, oh, fucked up, sleepy. What's going on Twitter, bro? It's fucking bad, man.
Do you guys practice visual hygiene at all?
Yeah. Well, I just said I read at night, so I'm good.
Well, that's actually eye strain, bro.
But it's not a screen glaring at me. It's like reading a book,
Does it matter? But
yeah, it does.
Why do you think that there's the stereotype of people who read a lot of books wearing glasses, Tony?
Oh, I don't know. I read books and I don't wear glasses. Why?
I know.
Because they're a bunch of nerds,
Because there's a fucking nerd.
Bunch of nerds.
Reading,
because a lot of old people read, and you just naturally, when you get older, your vision gets worse. No matter where you're
but the stereotype actually comes from the damage reading in dim light does to your eyesight.
Yeah, well, that's why you don't read in dim light. You got to read in some good motherfucking light,
Right. You gotta have red lights, man. Red lights help relax the eyes and heal with the cones.
Yeah.
blue lights are bad for you.
Yeah, I always do that on every thing I have. Turn on the filter, blue light filter.
Yeah, but dude, I just a good time to make a PSA. Hey, everybody, put a red light in your room. It illuminates things as much as you need without causing eye strain, and actively promotes healing in the eyes, helping keep visual health.
Hey, there you go, with red baby.
There you go.
There you go, Brett. See, I'm practicing good health, man. Red eyes, man. Red light.
Seriously, man, that's what you should do a couple hours ahead of time. Turn your lights red. Red light also affects seasonal affective disorder.
What?
Seasonal depression.
Oh, seasonal depression. I'm like, what does that do?
Yeah, red light helps to promote endorphins in the body, and it just generally.
And red light makes you want to kill. Like, I would have murdered you motherfuckers right now.
It's red lights in video games, man.
I was just talking about that earlier. I was like, I'm not really sure how we got the impression through movies that red light is. I mean, red things are kind of scary, but red light is one of the most comforting light. You get that weird blue silver light, and that shit unnerving. Makes everything look fucked up. Makes everything look harsh too.
Man, you're muted.
It's not red light. I mean, officially, that I think it's more of a warm, even in the orange range is a good one. But pure intense red light, fucking like a dark room. No, that's I'm sorry, but that's not good. That'll probably make your eyes give you eye strain just looking at that.
I thought the same thing. I asked my optometrist. It's actually really good for your eyes.
But one thing being that here's my semi-secret for staying up late, and it's not healthy to do this. Because I do know that I know about what the effect of lighting does, and if I do need to stay up a little later than I usually do, I have LEDs around my place, and I'll turn them blue when I need to stay up a little bit longer.
Shit!
Yeah, that's actually a secret for people who have problems getting alert in the morning, is to stare at blue light, and it will kind of re-energize your brain. It causes your beta waves to activate, so your brain starts working.
Yeah, but it's not. But also, it's not a good thing, because they've found that scientists have found that especially with a lot of late night nurses and stuff like that, and doctors and like that, who spend a lot of time in blue light, also end up having severe health issues.
Oh yeah, because, you do it in the morning to wake up like that. But after that, you should calm your day down with warmer light.
Yeah, hold on, bro.
Removing blue light.
Hold on, J&L, bro, don't do that, man. Wait, and this motherfucker's older than us, man. He says right now his room is pitch black except for his 2 monitors. You're gonna kill your eyes doing that, brother.
No, you need some light.
JNL's a mutant. He's existed forever.
So he's not actually a human. He's a store,
I know. I mean, here's the thing. JNL is a fucking store, and that store has been around for fucking ever.
Oh man.
I'm convinced I'm convinced he just has an arbiter or something like that. He essentially transfers his consciousness into that or clone of himself that just.
You want to hear something crazy? I met one of the guys that founded the company. I had no idea that he was one of the founders. He just hangs out,
Oh, he's always there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Chris, what do you do, man? For the lights, for the eyes.
Oh, just to get away from
screens? From screens. What do you do?
I usually read comics.
Yeah, man. There you go.
I'll read I have a lot of fiction I want to read, but usually I read either comics or I try to study some nonfiction stuff. I was reading a little bit of writing, how to write, and I was reading the screenplay book. It's called Save the Cat.
Oh yeah, the great book. I got the novel version of it. Great book.
Yeah, so that's what I usually do. That's the best way to get away from a screen. I have a Kindle also. I have an old ass Kindle, so it has no backlight or nothing. So I just turn on my lamp. It has a warm bulb in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised by how much better my sleep got just because I spent the last 2 hours of my night just reading from my Kindle. I'm like, oh shit, this works, Because what would I normally do before bed? Stare at a fucking screen,
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah.
All right, Brian, what do you do, man, to get away from screens? We're all in the same kind of field here. We all have to deal with screens just because of our jobs and shit, you know?
Oh yeah. Screen time. For the most part, I try to make sure that because most computers now have like that screen dimming mode.
Yeah,
that
I do
automatically
that
dim
too.
the screen
Yeah,
over
the
time.
warm mode.
Yeah.
I make sure that that's on. Make sure that everything's in dark mode because just that white light just hits my face and it's like nope, everything needs to be just black. But to get away from screens, what I find best is I go and cook.
Oh shit!
That just works well for me. Like I go
Y'all,
and cook
y'all
something.
cooking?
Yeah, I cook, I bake, and there's no screens. Like sure I have like some YouTube in my headphones, but that's it. Like no screens. I'm not really watching it. It's just there's background noise. So cook, clean, get mind off something else. If it's daytime and weather's nice, then I go outside for a while. Observe the bees, observe the birds. Just watch them do that.
Yo, Brian, I did that today. I
Natural.
went out. I was just outside for 2 hours, just chilling. It was fantastic. You know.
The outside.
Yeah.
What does it look like again? Like,
Yeah, like, what
what's
is
the
that?
sun color
Outside.
again?
The
Final
outside.
frontier.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. And Brett, I think you already touched on it, but go ahead. What other things do you do?
I work therapist hours, so I work a 50-minute hour and then take a 10-minute break.
Then what do you do during those 10 minutes? No screens.
No, I mean I'm a smoker, so I usually take the opportunity to smoke, or even if I don't smoke, I just go and chill outside. Just kind of try not to focus on anything. Like you just do 10 minutes of just decompression, stretching. That's a big thing about it. You need to be active. So like do a set of stretches that you're supposed to do once every hour to help get your blood flowing. Walk around a little bit. So it's not anything in particular. It's just be moving, active, and just kind of not having to focus very intently on one thing.
Good stuff. Right.
Hey,
What's up?
Tony.
What up?
Ask Adam that question.
Yeah. Oh shit. I don't know what he does.
It's
He'll be
funny.
like-
It's funny. It's funny. Before the show, we were talking about this, or essentially, Adam is sort of living the life he's always sort of had. Like even when he got married, his life never really changed. Like other than having kids and a wife and stuff like that, he still sort of works the crazy amounts of times at night. Doing whatever he does.
Doing Adam
Yeah.
things.
But no, we definitely spent too much time doing this. Like, look at this shit.
I found also again taking those sort of breaks.
By the way,
I
y'all
just
see the
go-
persona. I don't know if you can see it too well.
Oh, there you go.
Look
at that.
And then my lock screen. In the fucking people hearing this can't even see this shit. Damn it! You already know X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Versus Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So I was saying, also part of that taking those sorts of breaks. I never, I would just go in and in, right?
That fucked
Chris
you up
knows.
though, man.
And that
Unfortunately.
sort of fucked me up. Years ago, I got really fucking sick. I got I was hospitalized. That was not good.
You got hospitalized during when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, man. I remember that shit. We were talking about it.
Yep.
I give you a little shit. You know me, man. I was like, man, you over here stuck in the hospital. We got Metal Gear to play, man.
Yeah, I got it pretty
Yeah.
bad, but that's because I was burning the candle on both ends and not giving myself any time. And even now, just sort of after my mom passed away and all this other stuff, taking those sorts of breaks, because I was getting anxiety attacks, all kinds of fucking crazy shit that I never had before.
Yeah. No, it's not good, guys. Take care of yourself, people. Take care of yourselves. So that's why I wanted to answer these, just because we gotta, because what do we do, right? We're a fucking video game podcast. Motherfuckers looking at screens all day. I think it's responsible of us to tell guys out there, get away from the screens, man. Go do some other shit. The games will still be there. They ain't going nowhere.
Manny's right.
Yeah.
Just the constant doing without a chance to take a deep breath. I did the same thing. Worked my ass right into a fucking hospital, and you can only rub dirt on it for so long. So, you may be listening to this being like, I'm fine. I don't need to do anything. Eventually that shit's gonna catch up with you.
Yeah.
And that.
Especially when you're young, you're fucking 25, 20, man. You're like, yeah, I'm immortal, man. I'm gonna stay up until 4 a.m. in the morning, see the sunrise, and lay down.
Yeah, I'm working till 6, and they get 4 hours sleep, and they get up and fucking clean the house. No, fuck that noise. Nuh-uh.
Nope.
Fuck that shit. All right, extra long episode, but it was good stuff, and we had a lot of viewers, which is always good, you know. All right, so let us plug some stuff, Manny. What you got?
You know, the usual stuff. I got a bunch of DC stuff that's coming. You know, the darkest. I always have to look at it because it's such an absurdly long name. Yeah, Darkest Night. Dark Knight, Death Metal, Darkest Night. That's actually out right now, so you can get that. It's, you know, from our big crossover event with the death metal world. Obviously, right here we got Excellence. Also, again, I was always thank you for being a part of our Patreon if you did, and if not, you can go pick up Excellence at any store or even on Comixology. Same thing with the Darkest, and also I got a couple of things that I can't really talk about yet, but they're going to be coming soon. One of the things that have been announced is the fact that Kari and I were going to be doing covers for Static Shock. So the new run of Static Shock that's coming out right now, me and Kari are going to be doing the covers. So, stay tuned for that. Those are coming.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And then as for me, Chris, and Carlos, you can check us out doing our final impressions of the season finale of Invincible. This shit was crazy, you know? So go over to thecoalition.com with a K with thecoalition.com. Also on YouTube, The Coalition. Check out our thoughts. Shit was wild, bro. This shit was wild.
Those compendiums are nowhere to be found, man. It's
you
crazy.
Got them though. You got one though, right?
Yeah, I got one.
Well, Chris is hooking everybody up right now. You know. Hey, yo, Carlos, reading that comic, good way to get away from screens, man.
I just need that red light though.
Don't read it in bed though.
Yeah,
let that shit fall on you; it'll kill you.
Yeah.
That book is heavy.
Don't worry, Carlos. There's plenty. There's plenty of red inside that book.
I asked Tony because when he recommended that compendium, I'm like, so I'm wondering if it's like a small size kind of comic. And then he's like, no, man. No. He showed me a video. I was like, this thing's fucking huge.
Yeah. It's a fucking wizard's tome.
The funny thing, what Carlos was, because this is what happened, right? He was like, yo, Tony, how big is this thing? And I'm like, it's the size of a fucking omnibus. And Carlos was like, what do you mean by that? See, because I'm assuming he reads comic books like we do. I'm like, oh, wait, he reads manga. Yeah. He's thinking these little fucking things, The
manga, yeah.
So I had to show him a video. No, it's like
it's the size of a dictionary.
Yeah. Yeah, but like
it's the size of a dictionary.
like a comic book omnibus, they're all usually the same size. So it's the Invincible compendium. But Carlos doesn't read it. He reads those little things, Man, little ass weak books, man. You got to read man books that you need like muscle strength, Yeah,
you need to read books so big you can't take them out the house.
Yo, Brett, he needs to read books that are so big by the time he finishes, like his arm is bigger than it was before.
Right, you're reading hand lifting, bro.
Speaking about the omnibus book, that's Tony lent me like 2 of them when I got.
And those weren't even omnibuses; they were just hardcovers,
Those weren't even. Those things were huge.
Yeah. Well, think about it. The thing Carlos bought is 4 of those. So it's fucking big, All right, man.
That's just one.
That's just one. Yeah, one of them is 4 of those things I lent you, Manny. So, yeah. They're huge,
Yeah, I decided I want to catch up with the comics because I honestly do not want to risk this shit getting spoiled for me.
Yeah. Good, because I had to talk to you about Conquest. You'll see about that.
We'll talk about that.
About that.
They showed him too. I'm not going to tell you where, Carlos. You'll see. But in the final episode, they showed Conquest. You don't know who Conquest is, what Conquest is, but Conquest was there. Like, oh shit, we're going there. We are going there. It's like motherfucker right there. And the Invincible account even tweeted him. I was like, oh, who's this? Like, yo, the Invincible, when it hits the lips, it's so good, Oh, man. All right, we're done, people. So make sure you follow us on Twitch and Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube and join the Discord. Make sure you follow Throwdown on throwdownshow.com. That's our audio boom. You're going to have all the past episodes, and you can find us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. And if you guys are watching us on YouTube right now, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you enjoyed this episode. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Gotta have some.
Brett Murdoch,
Merc Gamer.
and Brian Manjoma.
Later, guys. Have a good one.
All right, people. Thursday later.
Deuces.
Peace.
Later.
Leaders.